and we are seeking still in terms of numbers. We are short, and we have to improve the depth and the quality of the squad, and we are constantly looking in the market.
Over in Switzerland, captain Leah Williamson has trained with England ahead of their Euros semi-final. That's after rolling her ankle in the win over Sweden. But Serena Wigman is optimistic Williamson will play against Italy live on talkSPORT tomorrow night. And amid concerns Australia aren't giving the British and Irish Lions enough of a game, we've been talking about where else the Lions could go on tour.
Would love to see would be a tour to France.
Ahead of the second test on Saturday, we've got live coverage of the British and Irish Lions versus First Nations and Pacifica with Owen Farrell as captain. That's on talkSPORT 2 tomorrow from 10 a.m.
This is the Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT with me, Flex, and Rory Jennings. Coming up tonight, Hugo Ekitike is on his way to Liverpool, but did they give up on Alexander Isak too soon? Marcus Rashford to Barcelona, will it be a good move for him? Can he make his mark in La Liga? And we'll talk the latest with Manchester City, West Ham and Chelsea, as well as looking ahead to the Lionesses semi-final against Italy tomorrow night, and much, much more. Get in touch with the show. Give us a call on 03717 22 3344. Text or WhatsApp us on the same number. We want to hear from you. This is the Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT. Rory Jennings.
Yes, sir.
Rory Jennings is back. You are back as a world champion.
Back as world champion.
You haven't been back to the station, we were saying, and you are now a world champion with Chelsea.
Again, it's very important to acknowledge, again, like this is kind of standard procedure for Chelsea. You're making it sound like this is like uncharted territory, something that you can't believe.
Yeah, because this is a new trophy, a new format.
Yeah.
So it's a bit different, right? But you're a world champion. How does that feel?
No, it feels amazing. I mean, it was... I've always rated this trophy. I genuinely have. Anybody that's ever heard me talk about football before will know that this is a trophy that I give a lot of credence to, a trophy that I give a lot of oxygen to. I really did want to win it, and it's something that I've showed devotion to previously. Like when we didn't win it in Tokyo, I was there. I watched us lose to Corinthians in Tokyo. So it's something that I've always wanted to win. And this new iteration of it, I think it was quite an impressive tournament. And not only is winning it impressive, but there are ways about, the way that we went about winning it. You look at what we did in that final. You look at the way that Cole Palmer stepped up in that final. You look at the way that Enzo Maresca set us up to give Luis Enrique an education. I mean, Cole Palmer, if there was any debate, if there was any doubt, and I don't think there was by anybody with any modicum of intelligence, there certainly shouldn't have been, but some people did doubt whether Cole Palmer was a genuine world-class player. Some people would have contested the fact that I just am asserting now that he is obviously world-class.
Is that rubber stamped it now?
No, I mean, I don't think it was in debate. I honestly...
Well, some people are saying it's a bit early to call him truly world-class. This is a young Chelsea side. Yes, they won the Conference League. They should have won the Conference League, but even in that second half, look what he did. But is it a bit premature to say that he's world-class?
It's not premature because you know what? If you think about Cole Palmer's career, just think about it. It's very short. It's a couple of seasons, but think about it from start to finish, right? Yeah. Think about it from start to right up until present day. Yeah. Every single time he's been given a platform at the very top, he's shone. Whatever it is, when he's playing for Man City, he plays for Man City, which was a fairly rare occurrence, but he plays for Man City in a European final. Manchester City are playing in the Super Cup. Who scores for them? Cole Palmer. Yeah. Manchester City are playing at Wembley against Arsenal. Who scores for them?
Yeah.
Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer is playing for England in a Euros final. Cole Palmer scores. In a semi-final, he provides the assist for Ollie Watkins. Like Chelsea are playing in a final in Europe. again, he takes the game by the scruff of the neck and wins it for Chelsea. Like, he literally won that. And then you see what he did in New York City. Literally, every time he's been given a platform, every time Cole Palmer has been asked to shine, he has shone. If that isn't the very definition of being a world-class footballer, the very best at what you do, incomparable to basically anyone that's doing it at the moment, I don't know what else can make him world-class apart from everything that I've just discussed.
People will try and add in the Champions League, so you're in the Champions League this year. Let's see how he does. Also, becoming a mainstay in England, which is obviously difficult with the amount of talent, but now he's knocking on the door.
Okay, that's an interesting one, the England debate.
Yeah.
There is no doubt, and he proved this in the final, by the way, and he proved it in his contribution in the semi-final, but if England had a manager that wasn't so limited as Gareth Southgate, if England had a manager that wasn't as cowardly as Gareth Southgate in the last tournament, this time last year, Cole Palmer would have been playing and Phil Foden would have been dropped. Football's a meritocracy.
Yeah.
Cole Palmer deserved to play. Phil Foden deserves to be dropped. But Gareth Southgate hid behind the brilliance of Phil Foden and was scared to drop him. So no, I think that Cole Palmer has proved undoubtedly that he is now a world-class player, and he makes me feel like a kid again. When I was a kid and we had Rud Hullet in the team. Yeah. When I was a kid and we had Gianfranco Zola in the team, I was like, oh my God, this is special.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah, and that's how I feel about Cole Palmer.
For 40 million, it's just an absolute snip. Nobody expected that he was going to be this good. This quick, we will talk more Chelsea later on in the show, of course. Let's turn our attentions to Liverpool. Liverpool fans, get involved in the show. We do want to hear from you because Liverpool agree a fee in principle. Pretty much all done for Frankfurt's Hugo Ekitike for £69 million with £10 million of add-ons. It's a massive deal. But this situation with Alexander Isak, did they give up too early? Were they right to just put out there that they've got 120 million Newcastle United? Tell you what, we've got 120 million. If you haven't got the same stance, we're interested. Nope, you're not interested. Right, we'll take Hugo Ekitike. Were they right to pivot that quickly?
Yeah, I think they were.
Yeah,
I think it was admirable. I think it was clever because what Liverpool don't need, they've already won the window. They've already demonstrated an incredible attitude to this window. They have been extraordinary in the way that they've conducted their business, and I believe that they've already won the window. No better player will leave than Florian Wirtz. No better player will arrive in the Premier League than Florian Wirtz. No better player will move clubs than Florian Wirtz. So they've already.
What do you mean? When Victor Gyökeres goes to Arsenal, Arsenal fans love something to say about that.
Yeah. I mean, they can say what they like, but it's almost incomparable.
Wow.
Like Florian Wirtz has been exceptional for 5 years. Florian Wirtz
but the goals that
he's good. Yeah, I've seen it as well. 98 goals in 100. 98 goals in 102 games. I've seen it as well. It's Portuguese league.
Rory, you of all people should not be doing this.
Why?
Because your Haaland take, when you said what you said about him, when he'd been scoring similarly to this in leagues that are inferior to the Premier League, he showed you straight away that you were wrong. So if I was you, I'll be like, hang on a minute. Let me not make that mistake again.
It's not a mistake.
It looks like you're about to.
No, it's not really a mistake. Everything that I'm saying here is comparable to Wirtz.
Right.
So you made it a comparison between Wirtz and
Victor Gyökeres is nowhere near Florian.
No. They're incomparable footballers. Completely incomparable.
I mean, they are way different ages. And different
positions. I mean, in terms of what they've achieved so far as well. I mean, being a mainstay in an international in the Germany team is so.
Only me and you can start talking about Hugo Ekitike, but we're now
pivot. No. Okay, right. We'll focus on Ekitike and then we can argue about Florian Wirtz afterwards. Look, with regard to Ekitike, I think that the fact that they prioritised him, they made the noises, they sounded out Alexander Isak. It didn't go their way, and they pivoted immediately to Ekitike. The reason why I think that's an intelligent move, a sound move, is because what Liverpool do not need, having already won the window, is a drawn out, protracted, messy transfer saga that even if they win, they might lose. You know, say they end up like desperately trying to get Alexander Isak. Alexander Isak then goes on strike. He forces him way out. It's all messy. It's all ugly. And even if they get their man, it's cast a bit of a shadow over the transfer window. Even if they get their man, it's at a cost. Yeah. Plus, they wouldn't have had him for pre-season. Like Ekitike will be on their tour of South Asia. Yeah. Like that he's going to be going on tour with Liverpool. Yeah. So getting your man in early, even if he isn't. Look, obviously Alexander Isak is a better signing. I'm not saying that Ekitike is a better signing than Isak, but all things considered, price, issues with the signing, getting him in early, everything factored in. Obviously, if they could have got Isak over the line easily, they would have done. But I think the pivot to Ekitike and making sure that it's done cleanly and swiftly is a wise move.
I agree. I agree, and I think with how diligent Liverpool have been in this transfer window so far, I think you'd be naive to argue against their strategy. So if they sounded out Alexander Isak and quickly moved on, that means that deal wasn't there to do.
Exactly.
I think the only reason why this is potentially a question is because Eddie Howe's comments saying he left him out of the squad against Celtic, they took a hammering 4-0, but he left him out of the squad because of his head, and he said that I can't guarantee 100% that any player will stay here, but I'm hopeful he'll be here. It seems like there's like a window open. But I think if you're Liverpool, you go, we haven't got time to wait. We're operating in a position of strength. Like you said, we don't need drawn out sagas. We know what we want versus what we don't want. And guess what? Isak's got, 3 years left on his deal?
We'll come back next year.
We'll come back next year.
Also, there's no guarantee that they don't get their man this year. Like Alexander Isak could easily end up at Liverpool this year, but it isn't now make or break.
No, it's not, and this is what worries me as a
non-Liverpool fan,
Manchester United neutral who does not want Isak to go to Liverpool, where it would just be over for everyone. I was a bit worried, so I'm like, Eddie Howe, what do you mean his head's still not? That's over. That Liverpool getting Ekitike. So far as I'm concerned, from a Newcastle perspective, the case should be closed. And it seems to be the doors ajar.
Do you know what? That's what's happened now. That's what Liverpool have done, and that's what Liverpool have done so impressively. They've sort of changed the trajectory of football. Like the two tectonic plates of football in this country. Yeah. In theory, it's Manchester United and Liverpool. Yeah. And over the years, Liverpool were a club, and this is, I think, fair to say, pretty much of the Premier League era, Liverpool have been a club that have missed out on their targets a lot of the time. Yeah. So I remember when I was a kid, Sol Campbell was leaving Tottenham. He looked like he was going to go to Liverpool. He didn't. He went to the double winners Arsenal. Yep. There was a time when Nemanja Vidic was going to go to Liverpool again. He ended up not going. There was also a time when Liverpool were losing their prized assets. Torres to Chelsea, Sterling.
Look at even recently, the Caicedo was going to go there, done a U-turn.
Yeah, exactly.
Was going to go there.
It's not that anymore. Now what we've got a situation where Liverpool are the champions. They're the champions for a reason, and they're using the might of being the champions of England.
That's the allure. That's why you're going to come and play.
Because they've got all of the other stuff in the bag. They always have. They've always had the attraction of Liverpool, the history of Liverpool, the cop, the what the shirt represents. They've always had that, but they haven't always had the glory of being champions. What they've got now is they've got that. And look, I was away last week, and I did my best to stay off social media. I really did. I even downloaded an app, can you believe, where I put the apps that I don't want to go on into this app that stops me going on. I know it's ridiculous because I've got this reflex where I just go on social media. I hate social media.
Just put it on Do Not Disturb. Just don't do it.
No, because it's a reflex. I can't help it. If I pick the phone up, it's
straight away.
So what you do is you put this is not the point.
Does it make it more difficult for you to get to the app?
You can't do it. You can't get in, right? So
it stops you.
I put my social media apps away, and I'm only allowed on them between an hour, right? No, it's ridiculous. There is a point to this really boring story that I'm going to come to. Right? The reason why I'm telling you this boring story is because I went to bed one night, so I'm allowed on it for 1 hour. In that hour, I saw Hugo Ekitike was a Newcastle player. That's what I saw. That's what I read. So I went to bed. 70 million. I thought that Hugo Ekitike had gone to Newcastle. So I'm thinking, okay, that's big for Newcastle, big for Eddie Howe, big for the Gallagate, big for what they want to do. This is part of the PIF's plan. This is part of the new Newcastle United, off the back of winning a trophy, off the back of qualifying for the Champions League. This is impressive. I then didn't go on social media for 24 hours. I went on, and he signed for Liverpool. I was like, wait, what? Yeah. Like that, to me, though, is such a statement, because it's like the geezer is off to Newcastle. Liverpool suddenly go, let's just make a phone call here, and they get their man. That is so powerful.
They said to Newcastle, like that bully that says, listen, you got a phone, you got a watch. Yeah. Which one? Pick your poison. I'm leaving with one of them. Yeah. And you go, it's
amazing.
I don't want to give that to you. I'll give you this.
To just make that statement.
But Newcastle United did. Well, it seems that they're going to keep hold of Isak, and I do think with the direction they're trying to go and the class that they're trying to be a part of, there needs to be a point where they say the big guys aren't just going to come and take our players.
No, the problem that they've got, and on some, like, I'm like completely insulating Eddie Howe from any criticism here. I rate him so highly. A completely different conversation, but I believe he should be England manager. Yes. He's done an excellent job. The problem is, though, you know, their targets that there have been 7 or 8 players I felt like were going to Newcastle United and haven't. And it's all very well to go, well, the champions of England took Ekitike, so you can rationalise it. You could almost go, well, Chelsea are in the Champions League and just won that trophy, so we took Liam Delap, so you rationalise it. Very difficult to rationalise Brian and Mbeumo, but you kind of go, well, Man United, they're not in Europe. They had a terrible season last year. Amorim looks out of his depth. But they're Man United, and the history of Man United, and the Cantona, and you start talking about the Holy Trinity at Stretford and the Stretford end and whatever, and maybe you rationalise it. But all of them combined, Eddie Howe's being let down. And if you're Alexander Isak, you're going to be sitting there, you're going to be going, wait, what?
Yeah.
What? Like, something isn't right here.
Where's the signings? Wait, he's got his Swedish compatriot Anthony Elanga through the door.
Yeah.
You'd be happy with that?
Yeah. Will he? Look, I don't mean that with any disrespect towards Anthony Elanga. I think he's a very good player, but that isn't a needle mover signing.
Yeah,
it's a good player.
There you go. Liverpool, massive fee for Hugo Ekitike. We'll see how that turns out. You're listening to the Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT with Ladbrokes 18+, begambleaware.org. Next up, we're going to get into the latest transfers with Mr. Ben Jacobs. This is the Transfer Insiders with myself, Flex, and Rory Jennings. We're going to be with you up until 10 p.m. So much to get through. But first, we need to head over to the World Match Play Darts in Blackpool with Mark Wilson, who's watching for talkSPORT.
Yeah, good evening. Night 3 of the PDC World Match Play. It's the final 4 first-round games. There's some big names in action. First up, Chris Dobie takes on Ricardo Pietreczko, the German. Then former runner-up here, Gerwyn Price takes on Daryl Gurney, recent World Cup winner. And then a monster tie. Michael van Gerwen takes on his fellow Dutchman, Raymond van Barneveld. And we're right off the night. Could be a cracker, this. Ross Smith takes on Josh Rock. All the action is live over on talkSPORT 2 with Ian Dancer and Chris Mason. They're about to get underway. The first game of the night is Chris Dobie takes on Ricardo Pietreczko.
Did you listen to that? Thank you very much for that, Mark. The atmosphere really building there in Blackpool. Right now, though, it's time to look at the latest football action with Ladbrokes.
The big preview on talkSPORT with Ladbrokes. Supercharge your odds with our Odds Boost button. Selected markets applies to first £50 of stake. Terms apply. 18+. Gambleaware.org.
Let's welcome in Ben Jacobs, talkSPORT reporter. Good to hear from you, Ben, as always, for the latest goings on in the transfer market. Let's start with the latest on Mads Hermansen, because there's a move going on there from Leicester.
Yeah, West Ham United are keen on the Leicester City goalkeeper. Leicester would rather not lose him, but they've been relegated. He's well contracted until 2028, but West Ham feel a bit of around 20-25 million might be enough. Leicester may have some say here, because 12 months ago they wanted 35 million. In fact, before Chelsea signed Philip Jorgensen, they made a check on Mads Hermansen, who played under Enzo Maresca, and they were told that number. I don't see West Ham moving if the number remains at 35, but if it drops by 10 million or so, this might be one to watch. And remember, Leicester are trying to bring in a veteran goalkeeper as well, and they remain in advanced talks with Asmir Begovic.
Ben, also, you've got some breaking news as well. Can you tell us what that is? We do love a bit of breaking news here on the Transfer Insiders.
Yeah, a talkSPORT exclusive from myself and chief football correspondent Alex Crook. We understand there is an agreement in principle between Brighton and Milan for Pervis Estupiñán, who has been a Manchester United target as well. So if Man United move, they've got to hijack now or walk away, because Milan have agreed a fee with Brighton that is expected to be in excess of 20 million euros. We'll bring you more details as we get it. But my understanding is there is now an agreement in principle between Milan and Brighton for the Brighton and Hove Albion left back. And assuming there's no surprise from Manchester United, this deal is going to be wrapped up relatively quickly. And Brighton changed their position from earlier in the window. They didn't desperately want to sell, but Maxime de Cooper has come in at left back, and that's opened the door for Pervis to have an opportunity elsewhere. Milan don't have any kind of European football, but he is keen on a move to Serie A. So unless Manchester United also enter the race, the expectation is that this deal will be formalised in the coming days.
Ben, have you got any news on what's going on with Brentford's Johan Wissa?
Yeah, I think there's a possibility we get bids for Johan Wissa, even though the general consensus is that Brentford don't want to lose Wissa and Brian Mbeumo in the same window. And Mbeumo, by the way, I'm still expecting to be announced at least within 24 hours. Maybe it's even this evening. And as a consequence, it's a lot harder for Wissa to get his move away. The only sort of caveat to that is that he's got 1 year left on his contract with an option at Brentford's end to extend. And given he's not going to sign a new deal at Brentford, it may be now or never for Brentford to bring in serious money. It's going to take in excess of £50 million, maybe even closer to the 60-65 mark with add-ons, because Mbeumo will obviously inform the valuation and the situation. I think Newcastle are going to go quite hard here, and we're not far off a Magpies bid. I also think there's still a possibility that Tottenham formally enter the race as well. Nottingham Forest are likely to move to other targets because they think the valuation is too high. But Tottenham have got the Frank factor, and Newcastle have just got urgency because they've missed out on other targets. So don't be surprised if we get a bit of a bidding war for Johan Wissa. And I think he's open to Spurs. He's open to Newcastle. It's just whether Brentford are prepared to sell both Mbeumo and Wissa in the same window. And that's going to be the key test. And bids are going to ultimately test that resolve to try and keep hold of Wissa this window.
Yeah, so much change for Brentford this summer. It's going to be really, really difficult for them, but they are getting an awful lot of money. We have to talk about Arsenal and Victor Gyökeres, because Arsenal fans will be increasingly frustrated. We have heard that there's an agreement in place with Victor Gyökeres, but still no confirmation on the fee and that deal being done. Where are we at with that?
Yeah, we're at a broad agreement, 63.5 million euros, 10 million euros in add-ons, and they're quibbling over 2.5 million euros of those add-ons and also the payment structure. Arsenal want to pay the fixed fee in 4. Sporting, I'm told, want it in 2. And the 2.5 million euros, Sporting want them to basically be easier, not tied to team success, but all just related to appearances made. And as a consequence, we're not there yet, but we're not far off an agreement in principle. I can tell you there was actually a medical provisionally scheduled for Gyökeres on Sunday, but it had to be pushed. Gyökeres' side are driving things to try and get this one over the line. The agent went and visited his player in Mallorca. They're ready to fly to London whenever needed to do the medical. So the agreement in principle could come imminently within 24, 48 hours, but Sporting are making this really difficult, including playing a few games and saying Manchester United had entered the race. That's not my understanding.
Don't use us as a
no
smoke
United
screen.
bid. Exactly. And Man United don't have the money anyway to finance the kind of deal for Victor Gyökeres at this point. But it's all about Arsenal. Arsenal are the only club there. They're the only club in formal talks. And I do still expect this deal to get done. But Sporting are not making it easy, that's for sure.
OK, Ben, so let's say that it is a complete smokescreen. Manchester United are not in the market for Victor Gyökeres. They need to be in the market for somebody up front. They cannot start a new season with Rasmus Højlund as a genuine option for first-team football. What are they going to do?
Yeah, I think Benjamin Sesko could be a possibility because everyone assumes the price for Sesko will hold, but not necessarily if other suitors are going for other strikers. We're not at the beginning of a window where Sesko could have been Arsenal, Sesko could have been Juventus, Sesko could have been PSG. All of these clubs have either got another striker or moved on to another target. In the case of PSG, Victor Osimhen is joining Galatasaray. So Leipzig may realise that they're not going to get a bidding war for Sesko. Price could drop. Maybe Manchester United enter the race. Christopher Vivell knows him already from his time working at the Red Bull Group. In addition to that, you got Ollie Watkins. There's an outside chance he's sold, although Villa would rather keep or cash in at 60 million. Don't see Man United doing it at that number. You got Nicholas Jackson. Chelsea are saying Jackson should be the same as a player like Hugo Ekitike in his valuation. But as the window progresses, that price might drop. Alexander Mitrovic is an option potentially on loan because the fact that Al Hilal are trying to sign a new striker. We know that they're being bold and ambitious and saying maybe Alexander Isak. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is available on a free transfer. It's more Calvert-Lewin courting Man United than Man United courting Calvert-Lewin. But these are the options. And at the moment, it needs an outgoing, probably Garnacho, to fund the pursuit of a number 9. And then in late July, early August, Man United will start to whittle down that shortlist. So they do have options. But at the moment, the challenge with Sesko, who I would say is probably the one they'd like to do at this stage, is that price at Leipzig has to come down, or they've got to sell Garnacho and Sancho very quickly in order to finance it.
Absolute mess. Absolutely. You know, just listen to Ben just reeling it all off, and when you hear it one after the other, really, really difficult. Just on Alexander Isak, Ben, I just want to ask you, is that door closed for him leaving the club? We saw, you know, Eddie Howe talk about he was left out of the squad because his head wasn't quite there, etc., etc. But how do you understand that situation to be currently, especially with Hugo Ekitike on his way to Liverpool?
Yeah, I think if Newcastle found a replacement, maybe the door jars open. From Liverpool's point of view, they probably need an outgoing Luis Diaz and Darwin Núñez, you could say, before they decide to pay that kind of potential outlay, but also enter a race that they know will be difficult, costly, and could drag on. But I don't think the door's entirely shut. The bottom line here is that Liverpool want Alexander Isak, whether now, whether January, or whether next summer. So it's all about not wasting their time and understanding if there's encouragement, either from the player side or from Newcastle United. Right now, it's clear. The answer's no, not for sale. Then I think what you do is you might ask the question again if he doesn't sign a new deal imminently, or if Newcastle get in another striker. So I think it's a fluid situation. I wouldn't take it as not for sale is 100% locked in and immovable. But I also don't think today it's possible to get it over the line. And this is where Newcastle finding a striker and Liverpool finding more funds through outgoings might change the complexion in a week or two. It wouldn't surprise me if Liverpool still try for Isak, but whether that's this window will all depend on Newcastle United. They've said their stance is not for sale. Eddie Howe's comments don't quite marry with that. Some say it's 150 million, some say it's 130 million. And I think Liverpool are still trying to understand the situation, and they'll feel in a stronger position now they've got Hugo Ekitike, because there's not the urgency to add that number 9. If they can get Isak, great. If not, I think they'll wait a year and then they'll be back at the table. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, Ben. Always a pleasure to talk to you. That is all. Thanks to Ladbrokes. 18+, begambledaware.org.
The big preview on talkSPORT with Ladbrokes. Supercharge your odds with our odds boost button. Selected markets applies to first £50 of stake. Terms apply. 18+, gambleaware.org.
You are listening to the Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT. We touched on it earlier, but did Liverpool give up on Alexander Isak too soon? We'll discuss in more detail next, and continue discussion on Newcastle and how we think they'll perform next season.
Liverpool have agreed a deal for Frankfurt striker Hugo Ekitike. It's an initial £69 million plus 10 in add-ons, and some say that sounds a bit steep for a 23-year-old with no Premier League experience. The champions have now spent almost £300 million this summer.
It's funny actually when you look at the journey that Michael Edwards, since he came back to Liverpool, and Richard Hughes, the sports director, have been on. They took a lot of flack for not signing anybody bar Chiesa last summer, and obviously Mamardashvili, who was sent out on loan. They took flack in January for not adding to their title challenge. They win the league, and then they go massive this summer. And I think some Liverpool fans would like a statue of Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards now erected outside Anfield. So I think they're clear favourites for me.
So are Arsenal in danger of being left behind? How's that Gyökeres deal coming on, Mikel?
You know, I cannot comment in any player that is not part of our group yet.
Noni Madueke is not joining Arsenal for their pre-season tour of Asia, but other new signings, Zubimendi, Norgard and Aritha Balaga, are there, and Arteta is looking to continue to add to his squad.
There's still a long time, you know, in the window, and we are seeking still in terms of numbers. We are short.
Over in Switzerland, captain Leah Williamson has trained with England ahead of their Euro semi-final. That's after rolling her ankle in the win over Sweden. But Sarina Wiegman is optimistic Williamson will play against Italy live on talkSPORT tomorrow night.
Listen to the Transfer Insiders with myself, Flex, and Rory Jennings. We're going to be with you until 10 p.m. Loads more to get through in the show. We're going to be talking Marcus Rashford. We're going to be talking about Chelsea, Manchester City, West Ham, and plenty more. But before that, time now to get an odds update with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on talkSPORT with Ladbrokes. Supercharge your odds with our odds boost button. Selected markets applies to first £50 of stake. Terms apply. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
Time to welcome in Cal Gilder from Ladbrokes. Good evening, Cal. Hope you're doing well, mate. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you, mate. How are you doing yourself?
Yeah, very, very good. Trying to enjoy the transfer window for Manchester United, but it's we've got to be patient. We've got to be patient. But right, we have to talk about the women's Euros. England women versus Italy women. What have we got with that?
Well, England are the heavy favourites for the tie at 8-15, so just shy of 2-1 on. Italy are about 5-1, and the draw is 100-30. I was looking to try to find a bit of stats behind it, and like when they last faced off, England won 5-1 in February last year. That's 28-1 tomorrow, which isn't as long as you might think, considering the hard work they make of that Jurassic. I felt like a dinosaur come the end of it. Dramatic.
Great film though, a new one out in a minute, isn't it?
Yeah. Can you tell I took my daughters to the Natural History Museum?
He's turned into Jeff Goldblum.
Odds on dinosaurs making a comeback?
Oh, I don't want to do that, to be honest, mate. But well, here we go. The dramatic quarter-final against Sweden, wasn't it? I think it highlighted how astute Sarina Wiegman is, though, at using her bench, isn't it? If they're disjointed again, we know that they're not going to quit. And England to win in extra time is about 8-1. So if it goes all the way to spot kicks as well, it's 11-1 for the Lionesses to make a second straight Euros final via a second straight shootout. The quarter-final also showed England boast so much quality in players like Lucy Bronze. I was looking up, and she's been directly involved in 7 goals this year, which is behind only Beth Mead and Alessia Russo amongst the squad, which is fantastic from right back. She's 6-1 to get an assist tomorrow. But my best bet, England, as we've said, grown into games, haven't they? And they've shown that they don't know when to beat. Italy have opened the scoring in all 4 of their matches in this tournament. So with that in mind, Ladbrokes will give you 7-1 on England to win from behind tomorrow.
That's not bad. I tell you what. And when you look at what's happened with Italy opening the scoring, exactly, it's probably likely. What about the out routes for the whole thing then? Who's going to win this thing? Can we retain this, or do we can't look past Spain? I guess you're going to say that.
Can't look past Spain, but you know, like we just said about the never say die attitude. Speaking to one of our traders, if the market were up during the game, I think we'd have probably offered around 100-1 on England to win the Euros with 12 minutes left of the Sweden match. They're now 5-2, which does make them second favourites. But yeah, sadly, whether it's 99-1, 5-2, doesn't matter. Spain are the 4-7 odds on favourites. Germany, they're as long as 7-1, while Italy are 20-1. So it says everything, doesn't it? You know, if you use the team's odds to qualify from the semi-finals, it's 8-13. So it's odds on that we have an England-Spain final. But if you think Germany will do what they always seem to do and upset the odds,
find a way, yeah.
You know, and progress, a repeat of the 2022 final between the Lionesses and Germany, it's 9-4 with Ladbrokes.
Right, Cal, appreciate that. You have to go and watch Jurassic Park, the film. Why not? Why not, mate? Thank you very much, Cal. That was a look at the latest odds with Ladbrokes. 18+, begamblerware.org.
Odds update on talkSPORT with Ladbrokes. Supercharge your odds with our odds boost button. Selected markets applies to first £50 of stake. Terms apply. 18+, gamblerware.org.
This is Transfer Insiders with me and Rory Jennings, myself, Flex, like I said. Right, Liverpool. We did touch on it from their perspective about where they're going with Hugo Ekitike. But just on Alexander Isak, should they have played the long game? Should they have waited it out a little bit longer? Because it looks like he's agitated. It looks like something's happened, something's brewing, and they may not be there anymore.
Just to ask you the question then, before we actually go into this, why can they still not sign Alexander Isak? Is this not the most sensible thing that they've done? They've got someone in. They needed reinforcements up front. Darwin Núñez isn't the guy. He will leave the club. They've been needing a striker. The conversation about Liverpool up front has been going on for a year. So they've been pursuing a striker for a year. Imagine if they didn't bring in Ekitike and they put all of their eggs in the Isak basket. They would need him. Now they can pursue Isak. Nothing's changed. Why can't they pursue Isak? Why can't they still sign Alexander Isak?
I agree.
Hugo Ekitike is a very talented player who can play in a variety of positions. So he will elevate the Liverpool front line in a number of ways. There's no reason why Liverpool's front line next year doesn't look like this. Mohamed Salah on one side, Alexander Isak through the middle, and Hugo Ekitike on the other side. There's no reason that doesn't happen. But if it doesn't happen, there's no pressure for it to happen. Because if it doesn't happen, Ekitike will go through the middle, and Luis Diaz, or I've seen Rodrigo linked, will play on the other side. Yeah,
Liverpool's scary.
What you, Flex, I'm getting the impression from you, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm getting the impression from you that you think that Liverpool have perhaps been a little bit cowardly and they should have pursued Isak. They should have gone for the jugular and got their man in Isak and not bothered signing Ekitike.
It's the only reason why, and like I say, as a Manchester United neutral fan who doesn't want Isak to go to Liverpool, I just think that the door is still open now. But you're right.
But I don't understand why you think it's closed. Why is it closed? Well, because of the Ekitike signing?
Well, I assumed, probably wrongly, I'm thinking, right, there's a little bit of a triangle here. Liverpool made their stance clear in terms of trying to entice Newcastle United and saying, listen, we've got 120 million quid in. If you change your stance, because we know it's not for sale, but if you change your stance, we've got 120 million quid. If that is the case, we're going to then pivot to Hugo Ekitike, which is how I understood it. But actually, now it's transpired. It's like,
I think you look at each in isolation. I don't think that you need to look at it as it's Ekitike or Isak this year.
But that's what's scary. Because now
they've got the money. They didn't sign anyone last year.
They've got the money. Okay, so where does this leave Alexander Isak? What does he do? Does he keep his feet under the table where he is? He's in the Champions League. He's just achieved a fantastic season with Newcastle United. They won their first trophy in many, many years. They're going in the right direction, I suppose, right, as it stands. Or does he agitate a little bit? Does he say, Eddie, I'll tell you what.
Well, maybe Liverpool played a blinder here.
Yeah,
because maybe Liverpool have unsettled the player. He may now be severely agitated because he might see it through the lens that you're looking at it. He may believe that his chance of playing in front of the Copper's gone.
Yeah.
He might now believe that he's not going to get that move. So he might now be unsettled. He might now be looking around at the lack of movement, the lack of
Eddie Howe suggests he's unsettled.
Well, I mean, I feel like he has a right to be, but I also feel like Eddie Howe has a right to be. Newcastle have not been strong enough this window, and I understand that they've lost players, and I understand that that's always going to happen, but it's happening too often. Like, they needed to sign players, and if they're playing catch up, they can't offer what Chelsea can offer. 2-time European Cup winners, for example. They can't offer that. They can't offer London, so they need to sign Liam Delap before Chelsea do. Before Chelsea have secured Champions League qualification, they need to make sure that he's already their player. Before Brian Mbeumo has decided to go to Manchester United, or has even had the opportunity of going to Manchester United, Newcastle need to get their men in early. I remember, it feels like about a year ago, that we were talking about Mark Gahey going to Newcastle.
Put 4 bids in. 4 bids.
So what's happened since then? Think about what's happened since then. Mark Gahey has gone on to have a brilliant season, an outstanding Euros, and be part of a Crystal Palace team that have won silverware.
Yeah.
He's also, I don't think this is controversial, he is now England's best centre-half. You pulled a face there that you disagreed.
Just making sure.
If I were to ask you...
It's because it's you.
It's because it's
yeah. This is joint enterprise.
It sounds rational, but because you said it, I'm going to disagree.
When you say things, mate, on national radio, I have to be very careful before I just go. Absolutely, I have to check it first.
I love that. It's like
Mark Gahey.
Yeah, it sounds like a really rational sentence, but because it came from you, I'm not sure I'm going to abide by it.
Levi Colwill.
Mark Gahey and Flex, the least controversial thing you're going to hear on this show tonight is Mark Gahey is England's best centre half. Like Mark Gahey is factually.
Proceed.
Right, he's England's best centre half. Yeah. So now it's really difficult to get him because he's England's best centre half. Now it's really difficult to get him because maybe Liverpool need a centre half. Now it's Chelsea in the Champions League and maybe Chelsea. It's really difficult to get Mark Gahey.
He's not going to go to Newcastle.
He's not exactly. That's ultimately that's the point that I was going round the houses to say.
I think Eddie Howe has a right to feel aggrieved. I think it is slightly concerning. I was sort of on the train of at least Newcastle United have said gone are the days where the Premier League champions can just come to us and take our best player. That's not happening. We are staying firm on the stance of not for sale. So on that side of it, I think Newcastle United fans will be happy because if you offered them, obviously you wanted both because they obviously put a 70 million bid in for Hugo Ekitike. But if it was at the expense of Alexander Isak, I think most Newcastle United fans will say, okay, I'll pass as long as we keep Alexander the Great, right? But now when you look at it, when that move's been done, it doesn't feel as harmonious as it should. And when you couple that with they missed out on João Pedro to Chelsea, they missed out on Liam Delap, they missed out on James Trafford,
Brian
Mbeumo. Yes, they've got Anthony Elanga over the line now. Look, I think he's done really well in the last couple of years, and actually in this Newcastle United system where they are aggressive, they have got athletes, they are quick in transition. Mate, Jacob Murphy had a fantastic season.
What I don't think they
need signings.
For the purposes of this conversation, we're talking about the best striker in the Premier League who currently plays at St James's Park. Yeah. He will not be particularly inspired at the solitary arrival of Anthony Elanga.
It's his mate.
No, I'm sure. Friendship.
Playing the national team together.
Friendship. But when you are the best centre forward,
I know what you mean.
You are the best.
Where's the ambition? Bruno Guimaraes at the end of the season said, "We need loads of players. We've been here before." So
look, I think ultimately Eddie Howe has been hamstrung, and Newcastle United, we also have to point out, have been hamstrung by fairly unjust PSR rules that they've just been unfortunate about the timing of their purchase.
Yeah,
but they needed to get their men in early. This is bad news for Newcastle, and I don't think it's particularly far-fetched to say that by the time the transfer window closes, Alexander Isak is a Liverpool player.
Okay,
just what do you think? Just a casual conversation, right? Without this being on the world's biggest sports radio station, a casual conversation in the pub.
Rory,
do you believe that Alexander Isak plays for Liverpool this coming season?
No, because it can't happen.
He will.
For the good of Premier League football. Right, you are listening to the Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT. The Lionesses are in Euros action in the semi-final tomorrow. We'll cross over to Switzerland to get the latest. like that. What a beat. You listen to the Transfer Insiders. We're here with myself, Flex, and Rory Jennings. We're going to be with you until 10 p.m. with an awful lot to talk about for Manchester United, Chelsea, Manchester City and co. But before we do that, we need to head over to the World Match Play Darts with Mark Wilson. What is the latest?
Yeah, good evening. It's a pretty nervy start here. Christobi leads Ricardo Pietreczko by 5 legs to 4. 10 legs needed to get into the second round. They shared the opening 2 legs. Pietreczko with a fantastic 1-2-2 checkout. Then there were 6 successive breaks to throw. It was really nervy. But Dobie himself has just fired in a 1-2-2 checkout to nudge himself in front. The German has got the crowd on his back, it's fair to say. It's all live over on talkSPORT 2. It's Dobie 5, Pietreczko 4.
Thank you, Mark. There's the latest update with darts there in Blackpool. It's absolutely going off. You can hear the atmosphere there. Time now to turn our attention to the Lionesses and to welcome in talkSPORT reporter and my fellow Inside Devils colleague, Angelina Kelly. Angelina, she's all smiles. She's all smiles. England taking on Italy in the Women's Euro semi-final.
More smiley now than she's when she's talking about Man United with you, I'm sure.
Exactly. Just a little bit. And just scathing. Let me tell you that. She's muted. She's muted. We haven't even got her yet. We couldn't even hear her when she just said that. I hope she's on the other end of the line there. Have we got Ange? Is she there? Yes, we have. I can hear her. I can hear it in the background. Yes, you are very scathing on Manchester United. But with the Lionesses, not so much so, because we are the current holders and we are taking on Italy tomorrow night, live on talkSPORT.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you look at this fixture against Italy, you don't want to take Italy for granted at all. There's a reason that they're this far into the tournament. But you think player for player, when you weigh things up, England do have the experience and they've got the talent 100%. And we were just at the press conference earlier today. Sarina Wiegman was speaking exactly about that and how they cannot take them for granted. Of course, there was a lot of conversation as well about Jess Carter and her statement about the racist abuse that she's received online. Georgia Stanway spoke really well about it, saying about how the team are really unified around her, and also the decision to not take the knee and how that decision came about with a lot of discussions amongst the team. But Stanway was also talking about herself. You know, she's a very experienced player. She is the penalty taker for England, of course, as well. And I was asking her about how it feels, because this is actually her 4th consecutive semi-final in a major tournament.
I didn't even know. So yeah, you telling me that is...
Have I made you nervous now? Sorry.
I'm already nervous. I'm sweating to be sat here. Yeah, I'm very grateful to be in this position, and I think it's just credit to the whole of England in terms of, yeah, us getting this far, the squad, the depth that we have, and yeah, just how important it is to have, like I said, such depth in the team that brings such quality. And you can see it in the games that we've played so far and how important the substitutes have been and the finishers of the game. And they've come on, they've scored, they've made a difference. And exactly like the Euros last time, we relied so much on Alessia and Tooney coming on and changing the game at about 60-70 minutes, and it's exactly the same this year. Yeah, you see the strength and the depth within the squad and utilising it.
Yeah, and Stanway talking there about the substitutes, that's going to be really important. A lot of conversation about if Sarina will tweak her starting 11. She tends to not do that. One thing is that Leah Williamson is fit. She obviously hobbled off the pitch in the Sweden game and couldn't see the game out. But, you know, you do question somebody like Chloe Kelly, who has been so effective off the bench. Could she get a start maybe over somebody like Lauren Hemp, who Sweden managed to really nullify? You know, you look at some of the other people that could be coming off the bench. You know, they've got the depth, they've got the talent, like Stanway said, and I think that's going to be really important going into this game. Yeah,
what do we think England need to change? You know, we 2-0 down. We didn't really want to be in that position, but it was great to fight back from that position. But what do you think, Sarina Wiegman, were we looking to change from the off?
I think it's just having that impact in the beginning. You look at how Sweden got those goals, you know, you cannot let that happen again. Yeah, really. So I think being able to kind of hit the ground running is really important, and I think that's where you look at people like your forwards, like people like Lauren Hemp, Ella Toon, Lauren James, who's been absolutely fantastic. I'm sure that she'll want to have a good game, especially, you know, after missing the penalty. And somebody like Russo, you know, I think she's a fantastic player. I personally think that if England do win this Euros, then she's got a strong shout for the Ballon d'Or. She's a phenomenal talent, but I think there were a couple of times in that game where she missed a couple of chances that you would normally expect her to take, and having spoken to her a couple of times, especially when, you know, at Arsenal, she will be looking to redeem herself a little bit from that, and I think that she'll be hungry for goals in this game, so that's going to be really important.
Absolutely. Predictions. Let's have it. Are we going to do this?
Of course we're going to do it. Come on, it's coming home, Flex.
Easy.
You know on Inside Devils we like to have a bit of positivity, but I think to be completely honest, you do look at this Italy team, and I think it's important to note that the women's league in Italy only became professional in the 2022-23 season, so you compare that to the WSL. I think in certain ways, and this is no criticism of the team because they've still got phenomenal players, but I think in some ways, you know, they're maybe not on the same level as England. Like I say, they've still got great players, but I think that could potentially play a role as well when you look at Italy and the experience they've had, not as much experience as England. You know, like I said, this is the 4th consecutive semi-final that they've been at a major tournament. I think that says it all. So I'm expecting England to right a few wrongs from some of the previous games where they have faced criticism, and I think put this to bed early. That's what I'm hoping, because my nerves cannot take it, and I cannot take another penalty shootout, although they did say in the press conference that they have been practicing penalties.
And Angelina, let's say that it does all go our way and we end up in the final. Germany versus Spain, who do we want? Who are we more likely to beat, Germany or Spain in the final?
It's a tough one because obviously we faced Germany in the last Euros final that we won. This is a bit of a changed Germany side, but I think you would probably go with them just because we've come up against Spain a couple of times. Obviously the World Cup final, 2 fixtures this year, England managing to get a win out of one of them. But I think when you look at that Spain team and the talent that they've got, you know, I'll be honest, it is scary. You've got 2 two-time Ballon d'Or winners in that team, and you look at a player like Claudia Pina, who's the top goal scorer in the Champions League. The corners that she has created for Spain have been so important, and Mariana Caldente, who is a player for Arsenal, who I do think if Spain win this tournament, she would be my front runner for the Ballon d'Or. She has been so effective. So I think when you look at every area of the pitch for Spain, there's so much talent. So for me personally, they do scare me more than Germany, although props have to go to the Germany goalkeeper for that phenomenal save the other night. They showed a lot of character in that game.
Absolutely, and we've got to bring the mood down a little bit because I can't let you go without talking about our beloved Manchester United. So you can, the smile's going to evaporate in a minute. But we have got Brian Mbeumo pretty much through the door. Marcus Rashford's got his move to Barcelona. A lot of people are very surprised about that. Where are you at with Manchester United with those big bits of information happening over the last couple of days?
I'm just relieved about this Mbeumo situation. How many times have we been waiting for this? I've been hounding Alex Crook daily for updates, so I'm just happy that we've got this one over the line. And you do look with the number 9 situation, it seems like they're going to be sticking with Rasmus Højlund the way it looks. So big pressure on Mbeumo and Cunha to be providing those goals to maybe, you know, alleviate a bit of pressure from Højlund. So I think they're going to have big roles to play. You would like to think that they're the type of players that can step into these roles, especially under Ruben Amorim, who really, really wanted these players. And regarding Marcus Rashford, I mean, you know, I'll be honest, I was one of the people that maybe scoffed at the idea of him actually playing for Barcelona, but I think, listen, nobody wanted it to end this way. I think that it's really sad the way things have ended with Manchester United, and if you're a true Manchester United fan, I think you're going to wish him the best in this situation because, you know, at the end of the day, you want to see him be able to turn this around just for himself personally, and you can't forget what a great servant he was for Manchester United for a period of time, despite things ending, you know, a bit sour. Yeah, we're linked with many strikers now. Benjamin Sesko, Nico Jackson, Rory's mate, Ollie Watkins, to name but a few, and some of the free agents. Where did Manchester United turn to now in the striker market to try and improve in that area? It's really hard, isn't it? Because, like I say, as it stands, you look at Rasmus Højlund and he is not good enough. And I feel sorry for the player, but at some point, you know, you've got to look at it. He's not the right fit. And I think if we could get a move for him, even if it was a loan, I think people would be interested in that, you know, United fans, I mean. But, I mean, I always hope for Victor Osimhen. I know we've spoken about it on Inside Devils, you know, having an experienced player like that. Any of those names that you mentioned, to be honest, I think just getting somebody in that we believe can hit the ground running, because because Manchester United, 44 goals in the Premier League last season. It's not good enough. And you look at how all the other teams are levelling up, whether it's Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal, it's going to be really tough to, get into that, not even the top half, but, to try and get into Europe. It's going to be really difficult. And I think goals are going to be really, really big in this. So to be honest with you, Flex, without sounding horrible to Rasmus Højlund, anybody would be an improvement. I do like Ollie Watkins. I do think having that Premier League experience as well could be helpful. And, we've seen him step up in big moments, for England, etc. So, I definitely wouldn't be mad at him wearing a Man United jersey.
And always a pleasure. I'll see you when you get back on Inside Devils and enjoy it out there in Switzerland. Hopefully the Lionesses get it done and get to that final so we can bring that trophy back to England. Right, that's England versus Italy, the Women's Euro 25 semi-final. That's going to be on talkSPORT, presented by Adrian Darwin. Commentary from Joe Shannon and former England striker Tash Dowie. You are listening to the Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT with Ladbrokes, 18+, begambleaware.org. Next up, Manchester United. We're going to be talking about them and Marcus Rashford. Yes, like we said, he's off to Barcelona.
Hugo Ekitike will be in the UK tomorrow for his Liverpool medical. The club have agreed to pay Frankfurt up to $79 million for the 23-year-old striker, which takes the champions' summer spending to almost £300 million.
And now we have to wait and see whether the unthinkable could happen, and it might be Ekitike and Isak. There'll obviously have to be an outgoing, maybe two, if that's the case. So Darwin Núñez is expected to leave. Possibly Luis Diaz. Bayern expected to make a second bid there, but Liverpool are not done yet. And in addition to probably adding another attacker, another centre-back likely to come through the door.
Now, unfortunately, we're talking again about English sports stars being subjected to racism. England's rugby union side lodged a complaint with World Rugby after players were abused during the second Test win over Argentina in San Juan this month. Meanwhile, over in Switzerland, the Lionesses have decided against taking a knee ahead of their Euros semi-final against Italy, which is live on talkSPORT tomorrow night. After Jess Carter was abused on social media, the squad says football needs to find another way of tackling racism. Simon Jordan says the game is doing its fair share of the work to combat this societal problem.
So I don't want to see football having to light up stadiums with LGBT flags. I don't think it's necessary. I think football is a game for entertainment. I think that ultimately football has a very strong stance on anti-discrimination. I'm not entirely sure what else it can do. It doesn't run the social media platforms. It's not in control of those sort of environments. And whether the social media platforms can do something more, whether they're considered to be publishers rather than just platforms, is a different discussion.
And Liam Dawson will join the Bazballers on Wednesday for his first Test match in 8 years. The spinner's the only change for the 4th Test at Old Trafford and replaces the injured Shoaib Bashir. England 2-1 up after a feisty win at Lord's, and Harry Brooks says they'll continue with their tactic of being nasty to India.
It looked like there was 11 versus 2 out there when we were fielding, and it was good fun. I have to admit, it was good fun. I think it put them under a little bit more pressure, obviously chasing a tough low score but on a tough pitch. It might have given them that little bit of added pressure, and thankfully they ended up crumbling and we won the game. They always have to be nice.
There's loads more analysis of this electric series on talkSPORT's cricket YouTube channel.
You listen to the Transfer Insiders with myself, Flex, and Rory Jennings. We're going to be talking about so much. Rory's beloved Chelsea. We're going to be talking about Manchester City. But right now, it's all about Manchester United because they have just completed the signing of Brentford's Bryan Mbeumo. It's finally done. Manchester United have released a statement. It is official and it reads as follows. Manchester United is pleased to confirm that Bryan Mbeumo has joined the club. Subject to registration, the Cameroon international has signed a contract until June 2030 with an option to extend for a further year. Some words here from Bryan Mbeumo. He said, as soon as I knew there was a chance to join Manchester United, I had to take the opportunity to sign for the club of my dreams, the team whose shirt I wore growing up. My mentality is to always be better than I was yesterday. I know that I have the spirit and character to reach another level here, learning from Ruben Amorim and playing alongside world-class players. Everybody told me about the environment that is being created here and how exciting the plans are for the future. This is a massive club with an incredible stadium and amazing fans. We are all really determined to challenge for the biggest trophies. There is a little bit from football director Jason Wilcox. He says Bryan's goals and assists record in the Premier League is exceptional, is remarkable. Consistency has put him amongst the most productive players in England for the last 3 seasons. Bryan's belief in our project and determination to join the club confirmed that he was the perfect fit for Manchester United and the culture that we are developing. There is more, but I don't want to bore Rory Jennings with the semantics. But he is a Manchester United player. Bryan Mbeumo to Manchester United, Rory.
Yeah, I think it's a good signing. I mean, it's a signing that's slightly protracted. It's taken slightly longer than it should have done. You made a sort of mountain out of a molehill getting it over the line.
We did.
But ultimately, you've got the player. I think it's crucial. You know when you were reading the statement there and Bryan Mbeumo, and we know it's true because at one point it looked like he could go to Tottenham. At one point it looked like he could go to Newcastle, and he has turned down Champions League football in order to play for Manchester United. I think that is almost the first priority for Manchester United because they have had too many mercenaries at the club. They have made too many signings that are there for the big check. They haven't bought into the culture of the club. They haven't particularly wanted to play for the club. There's been no love for the club. So the fact that Bryan Mbeumo clearly adores Manchester United, clearly understands what Manchester United are supposed to represent, I think that is excellent. And crucially, I mean, you can't overstate this enough, particularly with regard to Manchester United, a Premier League proven footballer.
Yeah, we need it. We need it so bad, Rory. I mean, listen.
Are you happy with this?
I'm very happy. I am. It has taken the shine off of how long it took for him to become a Manchester United player. And I was always saying in the round of negotiations that this will only be a masterstroke for Man United waiting this long if they don't end up paying what Brentford want. And in the end, we did. But that shouldn't take the shine away from what a good player he is. Like Jason Wilcox says in that statement, for the last few seasons, he's been one of the best attackers in the league, especially last season. I think Manchester United need to get back to basics and fundamentals of not doing the we're Man United, why are we going to sign a player from Brentford or from Wolves? No, that is exactly what Manchester United need to be doing. They need to be going around the league and trying to get the better players from the league where there's no settling in period. You don't have to explain to him how it works here. You don't have to wait for him to get his feet under the table and be comfortable. He understands the vigour of the Premier League, the physicality. He understands the demands of the Premier League, and he can go straight in, and he brings goals. And Manchester United scored 44.
No, there's no
44
doubt. There's no
goals.
doubt there's a chronic shortage of goals at Manchester United last season. And he's 20 goals, right? He's a 20 goal a season man. So, yeah, I understand the signing. But are we right to talk about this? Are you a touch put off when you look at the price tag that you've ultimately paid?
Yep.
Your first bid was 45 million plus 10.
Yeah.
So 55 million. Let's just call it all in, including the plus 10, which it may not have been.
Yep.
You valued him at 45 million plus 10. You've paid 71.
Yeah. But it wasn't, no, because, and that's bargaining though, right? If you put your house up on offer, I'm not just going to go in with what you say. If you sell your car, usually in Auto Trader it says ONO. Or nearest offer. So I think Manchester United have a right to test the water. When you look at the situation that you've got a player who wants to go to Manchester United and Manchester United only, and also you've got a player who has a year left on his contract, albeit with an option for a second year, and we have to try. Manchester United need to change their complexion in the market. Now, don't get me wrong; they've ended up basically paying what they wanted, but I don't blame them for trying. I don't blame them for trying to get a deal done at that. And also, when you look at the going rate for players. Some people say, oh, Man United have been fleeced again and all of this nonsense. Hang on a minute. Last time I checked, Jamie Gittins has just gone to Chelsea for 50 million quid. Never played in the league before. Young, up-and-coming player. Looks a prospect, but that is it. Madueke has just gone to Arsenal for 55 million, 52 million, call it that. João Pedro has just gone with 12 Premier League goals, mainly penalties, but looks great. Not demeaning, not playing down the signing, but he's gone for the best part of 50 million quid. So Brian Mbeumo, Premier League proven for the last 3 seasons, who's done really well. He's 25 going on 26, and he knows at the back of the net is always going to cost a premium. You have to pay that for these players.
And it's a variety of goals. Like, you can't score enough goals. No. You've got Rasmus Højlund leading the line, who looks like one of the worst players to have ever worn the famous Manchester United crest upon his heart. And now you've got a player who can score like a lot of different goals. Like, you know the ones that stick in my mind. Did you remember his volley against West Ham?
Come on, no, how did he even get his leg there?
That goal against Leicester, where he sort of cut in. Against Tottenham was a great goal. He scored a very good one-on-one against us. He's excellent at scoring penalties.
Everyone.
Look, he's a good player. Yeah. He's a hard-working player. Yeah. He's a player that seems to improve every single season. Like, you've got to remember, he was at Brentford. You know, when it was like Watkins and Ben Rama?
Yeah.
And
Griffin Pot.
Yeah, he was at Brentford then.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and he's gone up the gears, and he's been absolutely fantastic, and he's versatile as well. What I like about this, Rory, is that for me, I don't think Manchester United should be signing players for 3-4-3 for Ruben Amorim. Just sign good players. If Ruben Amorim got sacked tomorrow, Brian Mbeumo is a good player. He can play on the right wing, he can play up front, he can play in an inside 10. He's versatile. Same with Matheus Cunha. And actually with Matheus Cunha, coupling him with Matheus Cunha gives Manchester United's front line number 9 out of it, because we need to sort that. But all of a sudden, Manchester United's front line is completely different. You've got 2 of the best attacking players in the league statistically and eye test over the last couple of seasons. That's what
I agree. I agree with everything that you said, and for the record, I do believe this is a good signing. Let's look at it from the other angle, though. I think it's important to do that, right? The jeopardy. Not all signings work. A lot of signings fail. A lot of signings that look like they're well suited to succeed often fail. Is ultimately the issue going to be here the sort of step up for him in expectation? You're allowed a bad game at Brentford.
Yeah.
You're not allowed allowed a bad half at Manchester United.
Yeah, especially with the team finishing the worst it's ever finished in the Premier League history. The manager under intense scrutiny. He has to show something, or he's going to be gone.
Yeah, the culture of the club.
The culture of the club.
The ridiculous relentlessness, the cost cutting.
I agree, but this is why I think the best way to go forth and multiply with something like that is to have somebody like Brian Mbeumo, is to have somebody of that ilk, is to have somebody, like he says in a statement, of he wants to be part of that, and the attitude, the selflessness, to the sacrifice. I think he gets that. I think he's a humble player, and I think he's someone who is going to want to endear himself to the fans very, very quickly, and I think he's going to be a fan favourite. I mean, there's players who need to leave now as well. Jadon Sancho and Garnacho will probably be next. Marcus Rashford is obviously on his way to Barcelona, so there is outgoings that needs to happen. But I think as far as Manchester United problems go, there's a lot to fix. Manchester United desperately need a central midfielder. They need a goalkeeper. They need a 9. But they needed this as well.
Do you know what I was just trying to do then? Like, I was trying to think of a player that's moved to Manchester United over the past, say, I don't know, decade, 15 years. And so the example that I thought of, I was like, right, Robin van Persie.
Yeah.
Robin van Persie left Arsenal, went and won the league. And that season, particularly up until Christmas, he's the best player in the world.
That's fair. Yeah.
Best player in the world. Like, he won Manchester United the league before Christmas.
Yeah.
Great signing, worked for Manchester United, worked for Robin van Persie. I literally now, I'm not joking with you, and I'm not doing this as any kind of wind-up to you.
No.
I'm trying to think of a signing. Bruno Fernandes?
Bruno Fernandes, yeah. Definitely.
Bruno
Fernandes, for me, has been the most successful signing post-Fergie.
Yeah, okay, Bruno Fernandes. I now can't think of another signing that's worked the way that you thought it would.
No.
I literally can't think, Casemiro
and
came...
Herrera.
And Herrera.
Good servant.
Yeah.
Good, like him.
It really is.
Scary.
It really is a major cultural problem at Manchester United, isn't it?
It's a massive shift. Massive shift. Man United are in the mud. Honestly, and it's going to take a lot to turn it round, but
this could be the first. What do you need? You need a spine, don't you? It's like defender, centre half, midfielder, forward.
Yeah.
Is this the forward?
I think. Well, with how we play, we've kind of got 2 in that spine, right? Because they're narrow, right? So that's what I mean. You've changed those 2 straight away. What the plan was to get Liam Delap as well. That would have been... So you can see the thinking. You scored 44 Premier League goals, which is an awful return. Absolutely shocking, by the way. You can't create, you can't score. Let's go and get one of the highest scorers in the league. But, well, let's get 2 of the highest scorers and creators in the league, in Mbeumo and Matheus Cunha. And I think Man United are right to do that. And they're the right characters. They want to be there. Going to the Emirates, going to away to Anfield, going away to Chelsea and all the big teams. You've got guys there now in those 2 that have been there and done it at their respective clubs, and they will improve us. But my problem is Manchester United's midfield it's in a bad place.
Do you know what I thought you said? What I thought you were going to say the problem is?
Go on.
The problem, and I think we're all guilty of this. When we talk about a transfer window, the natural thing that we talk about when we talk about a transfer window, because it's far more exciting and far more inspiring, is who are we going to sign? And whoever you support, who are we going to bring in? How are we going to elevate? What are we going to do? What statement sign are we going to make? What marquee player is going to come and change the trajectory of the club or whatever?
It can't just be one. It can't do this one.
A huge part of a transfer window, a successful transfer window, is moving people on at the right time.
Yeah.
And almost for Manchester United, getting the likes of Rashford out the door, Sancho out the door. I mean, Garnacho has to leave. Tyrell Malacia. Yeah, I know, but it's almost as important as bringing as who you bring in.
If these players don't move, we can't buy anyone else after this. It's very, very important. So loads going on at Manchester United. You're listening to the Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT with Ladbrokes, 18+, begambleaware.org. We're going to take your calls on Mbeumo. Get in touch, United fans, 0371 722 3344, and we'll discuss Marcus Rashford and his imminent move to Barcelona.
10k for Coldplay.
Coldplay are back at Wembley this summer, and we've got a huge VIP prize up for grabs for one lucky listener. We're giving you the chance to win 6 tickets in a private box for you and your mates on August the 22nd with full hospitality. Plus, we're chucking in an extra 10 grand spending money, completely tax-free. Here's how you can enter: 18 plus, UK excluding Northern Ireland, for a chance to win. Text the word WIN to 83338 by the 4th of August at 11 p.m. and you're in the draw. Text costs £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. You must have the bill payer's permission or post your name and number to Coldplay Competition, PO Box 3190, Colchester CO2 8GP, to arrive by 5 p.m. on the 7th of August. This is a talkSPORT limited promotion run on talkSPORT, Talk and Virgin Radio UK stations. Full T's and C's at talksport.com. Coldplay tickets, look at that, you can get that. Remember the
10 bags of sand.
And 10 bags of sand, yeah, and the cameras are on as well, so remember that if you're entering, because everyone's watching, yeah, everyone's watching. Marcus Rashford, he's on his way to Barcelona. We want to take your calls on this as well. Get in contact with us, 03717 223344. We do want to hear what you guys think about that. It's a massive move, and Rory, I've got a bone to pick with you.
Many people do.
Yeah, true. You've probably not got much left. But I'll be honest, I remember a few weeks back, you and was it you and Ollie Klink? I think it could have been.
Probably.
Yeah, you used a clip of me on talkSPORT too.
Oh no, we do that a lot.
Yeah, you do that a lot. It's what we do there, right? Yeah. But I was the topic of it, and you guys were sort of laughing at the fact that I was proposing that Marcus Rashford will be on the plane to the World Cup with Thomas Tuchel, and he'll get his big move, etc., etc. Fast forward a couple of weeks, he has now moved, or is about to move, to Barcelona. And I could always see it happening. I know a lot of people are saying how and this, that and the third. I just think he's still got stocks, he's still got a reputation, and people want to still take that gamble. And Hansi Flick does.
It doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't. I find it very difficult to rationalise the motivation for Hansi Flick to take him to Barcelona. It feels like a punt. It feels like a punt that you don't need to take. It feels like a punt based on a player that I would argue doesn't exist anymore. The player that Marcus Rashford once was, the player that had the Stretford end singing the Stone Roses, Mank born and bred and all that. I don't believe that player exists. I don't think Marcus Rashford is that man anymore. And I think it's a sad story, but I am perplexed as to why Barcelona have made a move for Rashford. I don't think it will work out. I think this is Rashford's last throw of the dice. But what I have to concede is, when we were having that argument, you and I, about Rashford going to the World Cup, and I said it's impossible for Rashford to go to the World Cup, you were saying that he will.
Yeah.
You, I believe, are now correct, because basically, if you're English and you're playing for Barcelona,
you're going to the World Cup.
Thomas Tuchel's taking the likes of Jordan Henderson to England camps.
Yeah.
He's taking the likes of Ivan Toney to England camps. So I believe that you are correct, and I will have to fall on my sword here and admit that you were right. I just can't believe that Rashford has got this move. You know, when he came out and said, I want Barcelona.
Yeah, everyone laughed.
I laughed myself. I did. Yeah. I did. I was listening to talkSPORT, and I was listening to talkSPORT, White and Jordan, and they were discussing Marcus Rashford, and Rashford had made the noises about him wanting Barcelona. And I just couldn't make head nor tail of it. It didn't make any sense to me.
I think you have to look at it like this, right? So from a fan perspective and a media perspective, there's a lot of scrutiny about how bad he's been, right? But there are 3 top managers. We can't overlook that there are 3 top managers that have basically stuck their head above the parapet to say, I can get a player out of him. Unai Emery has come to the forefront and said, I don't care how bad he's been. I know there's a player in there. Bring him to Villa. And he did all right in that stint. Got him back in the England squad. Thomas Tuchel, from his time in England with Chelsea, he's saying, I don't care what's gone on. Man United is a mess. Look at Man United. Who has been good at Manchester United? So I know there's a player in there from my time at Chelsea. I'm bringing him in England squad. And now Hansi Flick, who's one of the top managers in world football, Barcelona,
they're champions.
They're champions of La Liga. And he plays attack-minded football, by the way.
And he's got Rafinha at the club.
And he's got Rafinha at the club. And they were looking for Nico Williams. Has said, hang on a minute. You're telling me there's a chance to get Marcus Rashford away from Manchester United at cut price deal. We can get him on loan and have a look at him. That shows me that top managers, forget what us, you know, we're not football scholars. We ain't got a clue. We're fans, right? We just talk about, we talk off emotion.
No,
right?
we are fans, but we can provide opinion and analysis from what we see.
But top draw managers and last time I checked, Unai Emery, Thomas Tuchel and Hansi Flick all that, are saying, I can get a tune out of him.
Okay.
And I believe that there's a player in there. He's going to be playing in the team. It's going to be mouth-watering, Rory. He's going to be on the left-hand side, right? And
running rings around Trent Alexander-Arnold.
That's what I mean. Mate. And Lamine Yamal's going to be on the right. Rashford, I'm telling you now, you're saying it's not going to go right. Watch this. Marcus Rashford's going to absolutely smash it. He's going to smash it at Barcelona. If Anthony,
why do you think that, though?
I tell you why.
I need rationale.
I'll tell you why. If Anthony can go to Real Betis and have the turnaround that he's had in just outside the big teams, don't tell me that Marcus Rashford, who's humbled himself, who's taken a 15% pay deduction, by the way. Everyone was saying, how's he going to do it with these wages? He's taken a wage deduction.
It's 40 grand, though, isn't it? It's 40 grand off. It's still 300 grand a week.
A wage deduction is a wage deduction. Everyone was saying that he's actually so bad that he's not going to take a wage deduction. Who does he think he is? He's taken a wage deduction. He's got the move that people said he couldn't get, and he's going to be amongst greatness. He's amongst Lewandowski, Pedri, Gavi.
It doesn't make
Rafinha,
sense. Okay,
Lamine Yamal.
Can you do me the favour then? Listen, you're the Man United fan.
Yeah.
You're the Man United fan. You're the man that's watched him over the past decade or so. You're also the man that's witnessed his form drop off a cliff. You're also the man that's witnessed his professionalism drop off a cliff.
Yes.
You're also the man who's witnessed him be out in Belfast when he should have been training and whatever else. You've seen it all.
Absolutely agree.
Explain it to me. Tell me why,
Do you know why?
he is going to succeed, and tell me why Hansi Flick has taken a punt. Because everything that I've seen, I can only say what I see, right? And everything that I've seen from Marcus Rashford over the past 18 months to 2 years suggests that he is at best a West Ham player.
I'll tell you why you're going to be proved wrong. Because all of those frustrations that you just said, I've seen it, I've lived it, I've been there as a Man United fan. I'm there, right? I 100% agree with you. Because it's about this, Rory. And for the listeners who can't see me doing it, it's about his mentality. Marcus Rashford needs a clean break to find himself again. And you're absolutely right. He's 27 years of age. This is last chance saloon. But we've given confidence and an arm around his shoulder away from the environment where he's making poor choices. Let's give him the accountability. I believe he's been making poor choices, stuck in a bit of a limbo, trying to find his identity again. This is a clean break in a new country, in a top team. And if it doesn't work this time, you're right, it is last chance saloon. There'll be nobody to blame but himself. But I think he's going to raise his game. And I think the same way...
Wasn't Villa that?
And that Villa, listen, I do think there was a little bit too much made about how good he was.
It was fine, wasn't it? It wasn't great.
It wasn't like, oh my God, look at this. But he was playing well. In that Champions League game, and this is what I mean, in that Champions League game against PSG, as soon as he left the field, it dropped. He was incredible. He was, that assist that he got for Ezri Konsa.
Okay, so talk to me about these decisions then. Your decision-making capacity. If you are a man who seems to perennially make bad decisions, you make bad decisions whether you operate on the Iberian Peninsula or in Northern England, right? You don't make bad decisions. It's not like you make bad decisions in England and really good decisions in Spain. Like, why do you believe that his professionalism, now we're not talking football ability, why is his professionalism going to suddenly elevate?
I just think because what the track record shows me is that Marcus, it's not consistent. So we are only talking about a season. This is a loan. I just think when Marcus Rashford locks in and chooses to play football in the right way and be confident, which I think he's going to do because he's in a whole new environment with, like you say, the pressures and the vigour of Hansi Flick and training with those players in a stable environment. Now, Barcelona is not stable in terms of the project sometimes, and they can't register players, but in terms of what Hansi Flick is building when they cross the white line in training, it's stable, very stable. It's very exciting. So I just think it's going to be infectious across the board. He's going to be playing with world-class players, top draw players, and people saying he's going to go and warm the bench and this, that and the other. Yeah, he might not start every game, but he's going to get an awful lot of appearances off the bench. And when it's in the Clasico and it's Real Madrid against Barcelona and they're bringing on Marcus Rashford or starting him against Trent, I'm telling you, he's going to do the business. In the Champions League, Lamine Yamal on the right, and Marcus Rashford
he'd be playing at Anfield or something.
He's going to do the business. I'm telling you. We're going to go to the call line now because I really want to see what people have to say on this. We're going to bring in a caller now. Have we got one online? Can we do that?
We got it.
George. We're going to bring in George. George's a Manchester United fan. George, Middlesbrough fan, sorry. I need to hear from you. George, what do you make of this? Marcus Rashford, has he earned this move? Can you see this working?
Good show, boys, by the way.
Thank you, mate.
Nice to speak to you. Has he earned the move? Absolutely not. No chance. I mean, he's not even close. I'm genuinely bemused that he thinks he deserves a move to anywhere in the Premier League. I wouldn't have him at Borough.
Come on,
how
George.
lazy I think.
You wouldn't have him at Middlesbrough.
Professional. If I turned up at my job, I'm a HCV driver. If I turned up at my job and then came back at the end of my shift and said, have we not done the delivery? No. Where do you think I'd be? I wouldn't. And then turn around and go, well, actually, I want to go work for Aston Martin and deliver their stuff. They'd be like, no, I don't think so. Nobody would want me.
So why do you think these managers want him, then, George? What do you think Unai Emery, Thomas Tuchel, and Hansi Flick are seeing?
I genuinely have no idea, because over the last 10 years he's been at Man United, right? If you look at his stats over the whole period, he's been average at best. He's had a couple.
He's had two good seasons. Yeah, he's had 2 good seasons.
Yeah, but the rest of it, he's been average at best. What he's done is he's got himself into a cracking set of wages. He's taken a pay cut. I mean, honestly, 40 grand. I mean, yeah, he's going to really struggle with that now. I don't think that's going to touch him, mate.
George, I agree with you. George, genuinely.
And there's a Manchester lad as well.
Yeah,
he should be ashamed of himself.
George, I agree with you. Okay, but what are we missing? Because I think you and I would both concede that Hansi Flick has a great command of the language of football. And he has decided that Marcus Rashford can add to his champions, can elevate the already best team in Spain. So you and I will have to concede that by some definition we're wrong here. What is Hansi Flick seeing that you and I are not?
With Marcus Rashford, do you remember we used to have a player at Borough called Mark Viduka?
Oh, yeah, right? The Australian centre-half. He's got a lead, yeah.
When he turned it on, he was unplayable. You couldn't touch him when he really wanted to play, right? But what we had at Middlesbrough is a player that, when he didn't feel like it, was absolute waste of space on the pitch. He just when he couldn't be bothered. And Rashford's like that. If he gets to a point where, I mean, what he's had for Man United in the last 18 months, 2 years, is the biggest spitting out of a dummy I've ever seen. I mean, it's like a moon-sized dummy he's been spitting on the floor. And all because he's not been getting his way. That is, and at his age as well, I mean, he ain't a kid no more, he's a senior player. Do you know what I mean? That's why
27, yeah.
Culture, I mean, yeah, if you look at the Man United lads and you talk about a new culture at Man United, what's he telling them now? Oh, just win, spit your dummy out, and your job, and you'll get the move of your dreams.
And George, that's why he's been moved on. I think that's why that is why he's been moved on. Thank you to George there, the Middlesbrough fan.
It's a great call, but he's upset me, George. He's brought Mark Viduka back into my life. I remember being at Borough. I was at Borough. I think it might have been our first game of the season. Certainly early in the season. Viduka scored a last-minute winner against us. Shevchenko scored for us in his debut. And Viduka scored a last-minute.
Mark Viduka.
Yeah, last-minute winner.
I'm almost insulted he thought we wouldn't remember who he was.
I know. How old do you think we are? This is great.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, we must be looking all right. Right. Yeah, George, the Borough fan there, he's very, very
I agree
scathing.
with George, but George and I think a lot of people are missing a trick here, because I don't understand how anybody thinks Marcus Rashford is worthy of a move to Barcelona.
Because confidence plays a part, and out of the environment, I think he's going to come out of his shell.
Even at his best, Marcus Rashford.
Yeah.
Even at his best, how good is he?
He's very good.
Did he start for England at his best? Marcus Rashford at his very best.
He's better than Anthony Gordon. Yeah. Don't tell me he's not. Don't buy into this.
Better than Phil Foden at his very best.
Well, different type of player. Yeah, different type of player. At his very best, he's getting in on the left ahead of Anthony Gordon. Yes.
Right. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So we'll see. Right, you listen to Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT. We'll focus next on the other team in Manchester, and that is City, as they try to rebuild for next season. Listen to the Transfer Insiders here with myself, Flex, and Rory Jennings. We're going to be with you until 10 p.m. Loads to come in the show, but before we crack on with that, it's time to head over to the World Match Play Darts in Blackpool as Ian Danter watches on for talkSPORT.
Thank you, Flex. Well, we're into the second match of the night. We complete round one this evening in Blackpool. Already, Chris Dobey, the number 6 seed, has got through, beating Ricardo Pietreczko of Germany by 10 legs to 5. He was 3-2 down at the first mid-session interval and wasn't playing at his best, but he scrapped and snarled his way through and won by 10 legs to 5 in the end. Remember, a lot of seeds have bitten the dust already this year, including the reigning champion Luke Humphries, who is out. But Gerwyn Price, you've just heard a yelp there from the Iceman, because he's just reeled off 4 straight legs, having been broken in the first leg by Daryl Gurney, to lead by 4 legs to 1 going into their first mid-session interval. Gerwyn Price has been winning lots of tournaments lately on the Pro Tour, the European Tour and the World Series, so he is in arguably the best form of anybody here at Blackpool, and he leads the World Cup winner Gurney by 4 legs to 1 in a race to 10, and you can follow all the action live both on the talkSPORT Darts YouTube channel and on talkSPORT 2.
Thank you, Ian. Sounds absolutely brilliant. I need to get to the darts. I really. You've been to the darts, Rory?
I've been once. I went as a Smurf. Genuinely, I painted myself blue. So one time being 5 foot nothing.
I was going to say you wouldn't have had to do much. Just a blue paint.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. No, I was unreal.
Oh, good. Well, next time you get the shout, please bring me. I want to go dress up or something.
Me and you together.
100%. Right, 21 minutes to go is the brand new weekly podcast from Goldstein and Cundy, and it's out now. Each week, the former late night superstar duo will offer a flavour of the good old days in a no-holds-barred, adults-only show that lasts exactly 21 minutes and not a second more. Episode 2 was released this morning with new episodes every Monday. That's 21 minutes to go. The new weekly podcast with Goldstein and Cundy, available now wherever you get your podcasts from. And a reminder to those of you who missed it, the mighty Manchester United have announced another signing, and that is the signing of Bryan Mbeumo from Brentford. That deal has been confirmed. He is now a Manchester United player. So from Manchester United across now to Manchester City, we're going to welcome in Amos Murphy, who's the co-founder of the City Ramble podcast, part of the talkSPORT fan network. Amos, great to speak to you, mate. Let's talk Manchester City. So much going on. You need to get back to winning ways and getting back to winning the Premier League, mate. Let's start off with Ederson, because he's been linked with a move away to Galatasaray.
Yeah, he has. That sort of accelerated in the post-Club World Cup period that City find themselves in, because, you go back to just after the season ended, it feels like a long time ago they were signing Shirky, Ait-Nouri, Tijani Reinders, and it almost feels like a little bit of a different summer. But, talk of him moving to Galatasaray, I think the initial reported fee, which I believe turned out to possibly be inaccurate, raised eyebrows, but I think it's just a case of both parties having had the sort of worth out of each other, basically. Ederson's not old, so to speak, in terms of goalkeeper circumstances, but even still, he's been at City, for the best part of 10 years now. So, yeah, it just feels like that one's fizzled out a little bit.
How does it affect the James Trafford situation? Because you're looking to try and bring him back to the club, letting him go for, I think, 19 million for Burnley at the time was a fantastic bit of business, and now looking to bring him back, but for less than the 40 million that you've got the buyback option on.
Yeah, all of these moving parts. I think going back sort of April time, I had a theory that maybe James Trafford could be on his way back to City, but in my head, because Ederson had 1 year left on his contract, I saw it more as an initial backup option, so he could come in, sort of learn the ropes off Ederson. Ederson could sail away into the sunset next summer with a hefty payout from whoever knows what sort of club would be willing to sign him. That's kind of shifted. It looks like Ederson's going to be the guy who leaves, and that maybe, I'm not doubting James Trafford's quality at all. I think it's a fantastic player. City can get him. I think it'll be, it's a low risk signing in terms of the potential he's got, and relatively speaking, a fee that for goalkeepers in this market will be considered, middle of the road, I guess. But yeah, it's certainly an interesting one, isn't it? Given the age profile of James Trafford, you'd assume he'd be coming in there as the number one.
Sure. Does that chime with the way you see the situation, Amos? Like, just to get your feeling on this. Like, I think James Trafford is a very good goalkeeper. What I don't think he is one of the best goalkeepers in the world. Invariably, Manchester City, when they sign players, they sign one of the very best in the world. Do you think James Trafford is good enough to take the number one jersey from Ederson now?
Yes, I guess. I think
you said yes, but your tone, the word you used was yes, but your tone massively said no.
Because it is stepping into the unknown a little bit, and I think, just in terms of, is he good enough to replace Ederson? I think he does have the qualities totally. I think, fast forward 12 months, we could be speaking about James Trafford having had a fantastic year. I don't know if this sort of, maybe professional footballers will say I'm talking nonsense, but it feels to me like a position where the step up from playing majority championship football or, lower end Premier League football isn't as steep as maybe a midfielder or a striker. Saving shots, it feels like it's transferable across the leagues, and we've seen him sort of excel for England's youth teams as well. So I think he certainly does. I'm not saying it isn't a risk, but I do think the ability, the qualities are there.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think he's a very competent young goalkeeper, up and coming. It is a step into the unknown, but one that I think you should relish. I mean, look, you can't. Ederson's so fantastic and has been so fantastic. It's a bit unfair to James Trafford to be like for like. He has slightly different qualities with how good Ederson is on the ball. It's a joke. He's one of the all-time greats at that. Jack Grealish, he's left out of the Club World Cup. It's been a really sour end to his time at Manchester City when he's won so much. How do you see this? Because he's linked with an exit, with a move away from the club now.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a weird one. The last year, rewind 12 months to last summer, and all the talk from Jack Grealish himself and coming out of City was Grealish has not gone to the Euros. He's got his head down. I think he later on in the year welcomed his first child. His partner announced she was pregnant, etc., etc. And it felt like, okay, this could be it. This could be a return to the 2023 Grealish that sort of shone for City and was one of their most important players in that treble win. It just didn't happen for one reason or another. I don't particularly want to speculate on why it was the case, but it ended on the final day of the season with him being left out of the squad completely, and it does feel like that bridge has burned with Guardiola, whatever it might be. You don't get a lot of chances when it sort of gets to that point, and if you do sort of break that trust, then it's a long way back. In some cases, you don't come back at all. Just ask João Cancelo, for example, how that one turned out. So yeah, it does feel like the time is up for Jack Grealish at City, which is a shame. I absolutely love the guy as a person, as a footballer, but it is what it is.
And with regard to that, Amos, where do you stand on his legacy at the club? Like, I feel like he's often derided and almost labelled a failure when that isn't even close to being the truth of the situation. He was integral to your treble-winning team, for example. Does he go down as a legend? Is he a fan favourite? Is he an icon? Or do you actually subscribe to the theory that it's all a bit of a waste and far too expensive?
I don't subscribe to that theory at all, because I think he didn't decide his transfer fee, and he can only do whatever he can. Maybe the opportunity, maybe the circumstances, maybe the environment wasn't necessarily right for him throughout his entire time at City. But it's hard to call a player a failure who was starred, and some people will downplay his role in City's treble team, but it wasn't the reason City won the treble, but he was certainly top. You know, I can't quantify it, but he was a major part of it, and it's impossible to say that a player who was so important is a failure. I think the word that I've landed on, the opinion that I've landed on, is an underwhelming sort of finish to it. But there were some great parts in that. There were some really bright parts, and look, wherever he goes next, I'm sure he will shine, because the talent isn't the question here, and it was never that for Guardiola. You just need to listen to his comments on Grealish. It's always been external factors, I guess.
I'll be honest, guys. I disagree with both of you there, and I'm not. It's not a Man United thing. I'm being honest. I talk about it objectively. I don't want you to think I'm just sticking the boot in because of that. I think I 100% agree that in that treble season, absolutely, especially in the running back end of it or the second half of it, he was absolutely outstanding, so integral in that Champions League final and just in general. But I think if you look at all the other years, the player that transfer fee away, you're right, Amos, he didn't make the transfer fee. But I just think the player that Jack Grealish should have gone on to have been, with how he should have been able to express himself and the type of maverick that he is, I don't think I've seen that. I have been underwhelmed, and partly it can be because of playing in Pep's system, and people talk about that type of thing. But I do think he's fallen short of what he should have been on a more consistent basis.
No, but the two things can be true. He may have fallen short of your expectations, but that doesn't mean that it didn't work.
I think he's got away with it. No, I do. I think. Listen, when you win the treble,
first name in the team sheet when they played a Champions League final in Istanbul,
right?
Won it.
We're talking about an isolated period over. But what was he doing for the other years?
Yeah, but you can become a legend when you are integral to a team's best ever.
Ange Postecoglou is a legend at Spurs.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is basically a legend because of.
But his role was that. I get that. His role, but that's different. His role was not supposed to be the main man. Jack Grealish was supposed to be brought in as the main man. What I'm saying is, I do subscribe to a part theory that he didn't do what he was supposed to do for the whole time he was there. I don't take away that what he did in the treble winning season 100%. He's cemented. That's, he made history. But I do feel a bit underwhelmed by Jack Grealish's time at Manchester City. But listen, I'm just a Manchester United fan. I'm going to look like I'm hating. I'm not. But Amos, on a more serious note though, incomings though, because like you said, you got going really, really quickly. And as a neutral, I looked at Manchester City signing Ryan Cherki, signing Reinders, top midfielder, and of course Aït-Nouri, really, really good left back, done really good work at Wolves. And I'm thinking, Peps, listen, anyone who thinks Liverpool are going to walk this, you spent 180 million quid in January to fix things as well, with Kushner, with Mamouche, etc. What do you need next? What more do City need? Because there were still some vulnerability, should we say, that got exposed in the Club World Cup. But after you beat Juventus, it was like City are back, and then all of a sudden you go out and it looks like there's more work to do. What's the real answer to that?
Yeah, I think the goalkeeper situation's paramount, and look, maybe it's not the sort of the world class immediate arrival that some people would be asking for to replace Ederson, but I think City can be strong in that department with James Trafford. Apart from that, I think had you asked me about 12 hours ago, I'd be saying City should be going all out for Tino Livramento. Although there's been reports this afternoon that there's going to be no bid for Tino Livramento, which is for me is disappointing. I think he ticks so many boxes for City in terms of that Kyle Walker replacement, not just the fact that he's English, he's coming in as a homegrown replacement as well, but you possibly got the best part of a decade tied down there. I do think right back is still City's weakest part of the squad, and if there's going to be a vulnerability, you're looking at the options right now, it's either Mateus Nunes, Rico Lewis, possibly Manuel Akanji playing out there a little bit, and Kusanov, who is by trade a centre-half. Does that scream title-winning right back to people? Probably not. However, City won a league title with Fabian Delph at left back, have won league titles with Zinchenko there. So maybe Pep works his miracle, but I think in terms of weakest department in the squad right now, it's certainly there.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for talking to us, Amos. It's been an absolute pleasure as always, mate. Good luck for the season. Amos Murphy, their co-founder of the City Ramble podcast, part of the talkSPORT fan network. Right, you are listening to the Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT. Next up, it's time to talk Chelsea. Yes, Rory, time to talk Chelsea.
That's fine.
Test match series up and running. The Lions kick off.
What Lions tours are about, you muck in, you get on with it.
Glide into the right-hand side.
There's boys that are going to be involved tomorrow night that are going to play on Saturday, and it's just sort of the nature of the beast.
Pollock's got it back and he's barreling his way forward. Up and over the 22. Keeps going. 5 metres out. Can he get the offload away? Yes, he can.
It's a brilliant indication of just how good a talent Henry Pollock is.
I want to come on this tour and just be a sponge, absorb as much as possible, and I think I've done that. There's world-class players there, and if you're not learning, then you're in the wrong place.
Owen Farrell steps back, strikes it right-footed. The Lions fans like it. Owen Farrell likes it.
Bloke's rugby royalty, like he goes down as one of the best ever, and this confirms that.
Lead the boys out tomorrow will be great, just to be the best we can possibly be. Special occasion. We get to really show who we are, playing for fans.
They know it's there, they know that there's an opportunity with the prize potentially of being involved in the second or third test.
The British and Irish Lions lead 1-0 in the series, with next Saturday's match at the MCG against Australia being an opportunity to win their first series win in 12 years, while the Wallabies, for them, it's do or die to keep the series alive. You can hear it all unfold live and exclusively here on talkSPORT next Saturday, with our coverage starting from 10 a.m. But before that, the Lions have an encounter with the First Nations and Pacifica 15 live and exclusively on talkSPORT 2 on Tuesday, with kickoff for that one at 11. Rory, we have to talk Chelsea now.
Finally.
The world champions. Yes, gold badge. You got. Are you
for 4 years? For 4 years?
Yes, for 4 years. Yeah, exactly. You get to hold it for 4 years. Just quickly, I know you're a man of principle. I know you're a man of tradition. I know you're a man of heritage. I know you're a man of immense knowledge.
All true.
All very true. I'm also aware that you have some non-negotiables, like just in life, principles, right?
Certain foibles.
Yeah.
Certain foibles.
You've got the new badge on the centre.
Yeah.
Now, that's a piece of history.
Right.
Are you going to get that shirt?
No, of course I'm not. I'm an adult. I'm not wearing a football kit, am I? I'm not a professional footballer.
What? Well, my good friend Olivia Bazagla, she put out an a tweet on X. Well, what is that? It's not a tweet anymore. Right. She
tweeted. Yeah.
Yeah.
She X'd.
What is it? Did she? Yeah.
I think she tweeted. I'm old school. What's Olivia said?
Well, she put something out saying, "I'm this age. Is it bad?" Basically, I'm paraphrasing. Is it bad if I go and get that shirt with that on it?
Yeah, I don't.
But you're saying you're an adult, so
I don't think any adult should be wearing a football kit unless they're a professional footballer, or maybe in the gym. But you know when people wear.
So what? Adults can't wear?
No, I don't think so. Do you wear football kits? No, because you're an adult.
Sometimes.
What, you just like go around the supermarket in a Manchester United shirt? That's so weird.
Like I have got the tracksuits and that, but I wear to the gym and that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think you can get away with it if you're playing sport. If you're playing sport or in the gym, I think you can get away with it if you have to.
So adults. So what you're saying is Chelsea adults.
When adults go to the football in the football kits, I think it's quite weird. Yeah.
So you don't like?
It's like playing dress up, isn't it?
So wait, hold on. So you don't basically like that visual show of support for your team?
That's not how you. I like a visual show of support. Your attendance is in itself a visual show.
If you had your way, would you stop it being sold at the megastore to adults?
I reckon an away end. An away end always looks far better when people are.
Oh no, away ends are never littered in red or littered.
No, they always look far better. A little bit moody.
Yeah,
you want a moody away end. You don't want an away and play a fancy dress.
You want Chelsea being all blue. You want it. It's intimidating.
Not really. No. I think it's. I like a moody looking away end.
Look at that.
Don't you?
No, away end, 100%.
Manchester United very much have a tradition of men in black, don't they?
You don't wear your colours away.
I think that's a better.
But I'm just saying though. But back to my original point.
Adults in football shirts is weird. It's not an adult way to dress, is it? It's not getting dressed. It's playing dress up.
It's showing you. What do you mean?
It's a very strange thing to do. Literally get dressed up.
I'm not saying put shin pads on and
costume
and put the sock sleeves on and the shorts. I'm not saying that.
No. I wouldn't. I don't believe adults.
Right, okay.
Look, my daughter, who's 6, has a Chelsea kit with Clementine 6 on the back.
Would she be allowed the gold?
She's allowed the gold star if she wants.
And the Champions League
of course she's allowed that.
Yeah.
But she's not having it when she's 26, and I believe Olivia is 26, and therefore And therefore, no, Olivia should not be wearing the
Olivia, if
football
you're
kit.
listening, I just thought I'd ask the question, but Rory is saying you're an adult, you're not allowed to. And shout out my good friend Matisse as well. He's also donning, all the merch.
Does he like wearing
He's got
the
the gold
kits
badge.
and all
Yeah,
that?
he's got the. He said he's a world champion. Right, but let's talk about something a bit more serious. Chelsea fans, let us know. 03717 03717 223344. Do you agree with Rory? Should you not be wearing your club shirts if you're over a certain age? But more importantly, what have you made of the transfer window, Rory? For Chelsea,
I think we've done fairly well. I think getting Liam Delap over the line was a no-brainer. I think it was a really good signing, exactly this kind of signing that Chelsea should be making, and the kind of signing that we earned. Like, the only reason that we got Liam Delap was some good work from the boardroom, but primarily because we qualified for the Champions League. Chelsea being a Champions League team elevates your opportunity. It gives you something to leverage, and we made full use of that. Bringing in Liam Delap for 30 million quid is an absolute no-brainer. Such a good player, such a proven track record. Scored 12 goals for a team that got relegated, 10 of them from open play, and crucially, it's a variety of goals that he scores.
Have you been surprised by João Pedro?
Not really, again, because I think it was an excellent signing.
Did you like that signing?
Yeah, it was. Look,
I agree.
Do you know what João Pedro was a perfect example of? I don't particularly like Chelsea's sporting directors. I don't particularly like what we're trying to do. Only signing young players. Never, ever signing a 31-year-old full of experience. Never. Regardless of circumstance. Literally never. Yeah. Like you're never bringing Michael Ballack to the club. No. You're never bringing Thiago Silva to the club. You're never bringing Deco to the club. Yeah. You're never bringing Branislav Ivanovic to the club.
Thiago Silva.
Yeah, you're just not doing that. And I don't like that as a policy. I think it's foolish, actually. Completely foolish. But I think that if that is your policy, João Pedro is an example of the kind of player that ticks their boxes but also ticks mine as a fan. What I want is proven players, proven track record, international class, and somebody that can do it at the highest level. João Pedro does all of those things. He's a Brazil international who scored loads of goals in the Premier League, scored massive goals for Brighton in Europe against big clubs, but is also young enough and fits the profile of the sporting directors. They want players that will increase in value that they can potentially sell on or whatever else. So João Pedro is an example of a player that works for me and the sporting directors. Liam Delap, to a degree, works for me and the sporting directors. What I don't really like is signing 15-year-old Brazilians who I've never heard of. Yeah. That's what doesn't really do it for me.
Yeah,
particularly now, because I think that we're in a situation where I don't think Chelsea will win the league. No. But I think that we should be talking about Chelsea potentially winning the league.
Yeah,
we finished in the top four last year.
Can challenge.
Simply by proxy of finishing in the top four last year. Anyone who finishes in the top four the previous season is capable of winning the league the following season. Combine that with the fact that we've just won silverware in New York City. We won European silverware as well. We've spent more than any other team in Europe over the past 3 years. What we should be doing is, having spent £2 billion, is competing for the league title.
Yeah.
Something's gone wrong that you basically dismissed it, and I've just said we spent more than anyone else in Europe, bearing in mind that
and you still haven't got
5 years ago we were the European Cup winners anyway.
Yeah, something has gone wrong, and listen, but I don't know. I think Enzo Maresca deserves a lot of credit, and I actually think that it's starting to work, this policy. But maybe we'll talk. I need to talk more about that. Actually, I need to press you on it. But right, you listen to Transfer Insiders on talkSPORT with Ladbrokes, 18+, begambleaware.org. Next up, we will be talking about West Ham as well. But I do need to press Rory some more on Chelsea.
You've got your England top on today.
I've got my England top on.
I can see that you're fully invested in the Lionesses.
I'll leave the studio. You can crack on with the show yourself.
Take it off.
Sweden had chances to really kill the game. They did. But you're watching the game, you're going, you won't be surprised if England get back into this. It was just a pressure cooker. And under the pressure, there was a lot of poor penalties.
Who's this? Sorry, who's this? Who's that?
Chloe Kelly.
Yeah.
It was like we only played well for something like 10 minutes in the...
You popped up with your player ratings and I was going, is this guy all right? Is he sure? I thought, I'll need to get a game of fives with this guy.
Player for player, England should win it, but listen, England It depends which England turns up. I think some of the decisions are highly questionable. That's why she's had some low marks out of 10 recently.
Can we talk about Anne Berger?
But watching a Berger kick from her hands and stuff like that, like she can get over a ball and waz it. Who you want to see in the final, personally?
Yeah, England.
I'm going to say it's going to go to extra time and penalties.
Oh!
It's going to go.
Hello, how you doing? And welcome back to the Kickback, sponsored by LG and its all-in pledge campaign. Show your commitment to the Lionesses and the Red Roses this summer by heading to lg.com/UK/pledge. You can sign up to the pledge campaign and opt in for a chance to win an LG TV and soundbar. Remember, watching changes everything. My name's Shabana Hearn, joined here in real life by the evil twin sister, professional football player looking for a club.com. Risha Littlejohn is with us today. Coming up on the show, what a quarter-final for the Lionesses. Unbelievable. Did they deserve that win? We're going to unpack it all for you. Plus, we'll be joined by voice of live football, Adrian Durham of talkSPORT, to look ahead to the next game against the Italians for the Lionesses. We're also going to hear from Giorgio Russo, brother of striker Alessio Russo, about his time in the Love Island villa and flying around the world to follow his sister's footballing journey. It's a busy, busy show. Lots on the way. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Get in the comments. Let us know how you're feeling about the tournament so far. Risha!
That was a very long intro.
It was a very long intro.
That was a long one. But you know what? I'm actually
though.
like, where do I am? I'm going to sign up and try and win myself an LG TV and a soundbar.
Well, you know,
because the TV in my room right now is too small for me.
Well, if you opt in, go through the whole website properly, right? Follow them on socials as well. Give them a tag.
Okay.
We're trying to get as many people to opt to support women's sport, Red Roses and Lioness this summer. So if you sign the pledge. Now, the thing is, we saw the numbers from that shootout, 7.4 million.
Yeah, crazy numbers.
If all of them could do the pledge as well, that'd be great.
That's it. You have to be in it to win it.
Absolutely.
That's what they say.
Oh, God.
Wow.
I mean, we're going to come into all in full detail with Adrian Durham, but what have you made of the tournament so far? Because you've got your England top on today.
I've got my England top on.
I can see that you're fully invested in the Lionesses.
She's trying to say this is like an England top from M&S. It's not from M&S. It's not an England top.
Right, hold on. Can I just get a show of hands in the gallery? Who thinks Risha's wearing an England top today? Everyone's put their hand up.
They're all at the wind up. Everyone's on one.
Right, it's pure England. It's lovely to see. I'm glad to see you supporting.
Right. I'll leave the studio. You can crack on with the show yourself.
Take it off.
But yeah, the tournament so far has been really enjoyable. I was in America. I was over stateside, so I missed a few of the games in the group stages, caught some of them. But what I've seen, I've really enjoyed, and I think the quarterfinals have been fantastic. Yes, I get everyone's going to have their opinions on certain things, shootouts, whatever.
Yeah.
But for entertainment, enjoyment, I've been sucked right in. I kind of am a wee bit going, it's the semis.
I know.
And I'm like, that's really sad. It's coming to an end. I feel like it's got to be longer.
I mean, no round of 16.
Yeah.
Now, this is the thing. If there were a round of 16, you lot probably would have blooming been there.
Could have been.
You know, if it were a bigger tournament.
Yeah.
But the fact that we've now jumped to this stage, now it's going to be 2 games this week, and then we're waiting to the final on the 27th. It's like, and then it's done.
I know.
It's
tomorrow night. Well, it's going to be Tuesday night game.
Yeah.
Lionesses.
I mean,
against Italy. You'll be sitting there in your room, Cash, wrapped in your Union Jack, with your Lioness top on, your shin pads in, and your moulds on, sitting on your bed. Right pumped up for it.
Serena Wiegman glasses on.
That's it. Well, I've got them. I'll send them down for you.
You should put on your Serena Wiegman glasses. I actually think, Rue, that you are now becoming that way where you are like rooting for them in the game.
That's I actually am like, well done England for getting them. Watching the game, can we dive into this right now? If we get anything else we need to talk about, can we go for it? Right, okay. So watching the game, and I'm sitting there. I have it on the iPad because I didn't know it was on the TV.
Because we don't have an LG
whatever.
TV.
Yes, LG, hello. Send me on for the final, please.
LG.
Anyway, watching the game, and I'm just like, oh my God, like England were... It's like I get people talk about the warm-ups. This is a thing people are going, to me, I don't buy into the warm-up stuff. I'm like, you could have great warm-up and you could go out and get battered, right? You could have a stink of a warm-up and go and score a hat-trick. So I don't really buy into this warm-up. I get the Swedes, the great warm-up compared to the Lionesses warm-up. I don't care about that. Give me a football and let me do 5-10 minutes of keepy-ups and then I'd be good to go in a game. Warm-ups, overrated, waste of time. Then you have to go inside after your warm-up and you get changed, do your last bits of prep, maybe put in your shin guards. Some people might redo their hair, all that nonsense, go to the toilet, get a wee bit of hydration in you, a wee bit more carbs, stuff like that, a bit of caffeine. And then you walk back out and you go through the anthems and all that, and sometimes the dignitaries and all that come down. You've got all that stuff to go. So by that time you're going, the warm-up's like, there was no point in the warm-up. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I just don't buy into all that. Anyway, England started slow. They did, but during the game you're watching it and you're going, Sweden had chances, right? Sweden had chances to really kill the game. They did. But you're watching the game, you're going, you won't be surprised if England get back into this. You won't be. And then 2 goals, in 3 minutes? And that's it, they're right back in it again. And then they were really going, hold on a wee second. Can we be arsed going to a semi-final? Are we actually up for that? We sure are. But even that, like Sweden too, you're going, oh, but again, it was just the occasion, that clearly the occasion had got to everyone, and it was just absolute, I don't know if people are going to say they were nervous, but it was just a pressure cooker, and under the pressure, there was a lot of poor penalties, and that's it. But to me, I enjoyed it. Yeah. Like,
it was entertainment.
It was so good. It was so fun.
Through the roof entertainment. I mean, we watched it together.
I don't know, there's a lot of pressure on here now. But she's so chill. Too chill. I didn't see that happening, to be honest. Jesus Christ.
No, Beth.
Oh,
no.
Someone call a taxis now. Someone call a taxi.
Love her.
She's smile, she's got the swag, she's going to put the wee horsey leg up. Oh no, she's taking her time yet. Horsey, boom, boom, bash.
What a stunning penalty.
She's fine. So yeah, that was, no, you're, what? What? This is, how many penalties have been gone here?
We couldn't believe what was happening. The misses, the lack of quality. They don't need to hear this, by the way, because they know it was shambolic. But Risha, I was thinking, do you ever have one of those dreams where you're trying to do your job? Like, so I have dreams often that I'm presenting, but I can't talk and I can't get the words out. And I was like, their job was to smash that ball into the back of the net.
That's not a dream. That's not a dream. That's actually real life. So,
but like, it felt like they completely forgot, with the pressure that they were under and the scrutiny that was on them, to actually be able to just kick a ball and like blast.
I get it's easier said than done. But we always say,
I have no idea about that pressure.
But we always say after the game of football and you've done extra time, you're not going to, you're probably technically, and your accuracy is not going to be there because you're fatigued. So it's like under pressure, you kind of just put your laces through the ball and don't balloon it over the bar. It's like just smash the ball on target. You've seen Lucy Bronze just smash it down the middle.
Lovely.
Do you know what I mean? And you're going, again, easier said than done. People are trying to do something and it doesn't come off. But in the moment, you're going, the Lionesses have been in these moments before and in the pressure cooker before. So it was just interesting to see how it went. But at the end of the day, they've came out the other side. I don't think we'll see that kind of shootout in a while. But what's the success rate of penalties this tournament? It's almost like 50%. So it's just, it can happen. But it's been, for me, for the fans, for the neutrals, it's been really, really enjoyable.
Who's this? Sorry, who's this? Where's the camera? Who's that?
Chloe Kelly.
Yeah, that's Chloe.
I think her technique's a bit better than yours. But you know what I will give to Chloe Kelly?
Hers is amazing.
Her whole routine. So she basically, we all know that she takes penalty kicks. So you could see that she has her routine, and not saying that she'll never miss. She will miss a penalty. It will happen. But in that moment, she really stepped up. She came on, she changed the game also. So confidence is sky high. She's flying. She's got her little ritual, her routine. The spin of the ball on the spot, the stamp, stand, start to walk back, smile at the goalie, swag back, and then does her wee leg lift, horsey kick.
It's like a dressage horse.
But it works for her. It works for her. But my thing was, in that moment, in the moment, it was just it was a smile for me. The smile was, I'm on this. This is in the bin. This is in the bin. It's in the bin. Done. Do you know what I mean? Fair play.
I was like,
I enjoyed that. I had a wee giggle watching that.
But it was so good. And it kind of unnerves you a wee bit. You felt like, right, okay, she's smiling at me now. Okay. And you know that she's got the most powerful penalty. Is it the most powerful penalty in all of football? Remember?
It wasn't all football. It was against the Premier League that season.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that. So, yeah, she can welly a ball.
Unbelievable stuff. Like we say, I think every fan rode the emotions of that game, and England have made it to a semi-final. And the dream of retaining the European Championship is still there, Ru.
Yeah, don't want to write anyone off yet. Obviously, the Italians have done exceptionally well to get to where they are right now. And I think people will be looking like the Sweden game, and I think a lot of people wrote Sweden off and didn't realise how hard a game it would be. And I'm going, the Italians can play football, but they're also good at killing a game and playing the game. They will want to slow the game down. They'll want to control the game. They'll want to just knock any rhythm and momentum out of England playing. They'll want to roam about the ground. They'll want to maybe scratch you, kick you too. They can play that game, and they're very good at it. So that's what they'll be looking to do. So I don't think we can write them off yet.
No.
But England will be looking to bounce back with a better performance in the Sweden game. But we've seen them already in the tournament. They get beat their first game. So things haven't been plain sailing for them. So it's going to be a very competitive game. But if England win it, then you're going to, they could potentially, again, don't want to write anyone off, but they could have either a Germany or a Spain.
And we were writing Germany off against Spain, which is crazy. Joining us now, live in Switzerland, our voice of live football, Adrian Durham in the house.
Listen, what a privilege, what a pleasure to join you on this show. I honestly, the sisters. It's just a career high. So thank you very much. What an honour.
Anytime, and that's all we've got time for with you. Thanks, Adrian. It's good to have you with us. I mean, Adrian, we were just saying, I mean, up against the Italians next. I know you've probably spoken about this till you're blue in the face, but what about that? What about that against the Swedes the other night?
Well, listen, as you know, I've been to many football matches down the years, and there's been some dramatic moments. I mean, that is right up there. And I think Serena, in her interview with Courtney Sweetman-Kirk after the game, said that England were out 3 times. And they were probably more than that, actually, because at 2-0 down in 90 minutes with 11 to go, you're thinking there's no way they're going to do it. And then 2 in 2 minutes, and then they take their foot off the gas again. And it was like we only played well for something like 10 minutes in the 120 of the normal game in extra time. So then you have the penalty shootout. Chloe Kelly has to score to keep us in it, so that's 1 life. Then Sweden have 2 chances to win it, and that's another 2 lives. So she's right, effectively, in the shootout 3 times. England were virtually out, somehow saved themselves, or Sweden saved us, and then go on to win it. They ballooned one into orbit. It was, listen, there's a lot of luck involved. It wasn't all of England's making, that's for sure. But the spirit around the camp has been quite high in terms of the football. And, of course, you know, that galvanises a team together, doesn't it? If they can win a game that they've lost 3 or 4 times and get through to the semi-final, anything is possible. Who knows? They might even beat Spain in the final should they get there.
Crazy. Adrian, I'm just looking at all of the back pages over here this morning, all of our timelines. We're hearing all about this Jess Carter news, and like you say, the Lionesses, when they come together as a group, they're galvanised, they work together as a team, and they're in support of Jess Carter and everything that she's been going through with this social media racism, abuse. What have you heard about this from inside the camp?
Well, Lucy Bronze spoke so strongly on it yesterday. In fact, a lot of us felt quite emotional in the press conference.
We feel, as a collective, is the message as strong as it used to be? Is the message really hitting hard? Because to us it feels like it's not, if these things are still happening to our players in the biggest tournaments of their lives. So yeah, it's about putting another statement out there to say, you know, it's something that still is a problem. It's something that still needs to be put right. More needs to be done in football, more needs to be done in society. What that is right now, as an individual, I don't exactly know, but it's something that us collectively as a team and as a federation, we want to work towards, we want to make changes. This is a small step trying to create another change.
It's just got to a point where something seriously has to be done. She's pointing the finger squarely. First of all, at those who post racist comments. They're the ones that we should be looking at. So I hear a lot of maybe middle-aged white men, and I appreciate that people might view me as one of those, but middle-aged white men who basically gaslight Jess Carter, saying she shouldn't be on social media. What a load of rubbish. Yeah. You know, to actually make that a thing is just ridiculous. Let's talk about this in real terms. The people who post the stuff, they're the ones that need to be looked at. The social media companies not doing enough. They're the ones that need to be looked at. Lucy Bronze spoke so well on that yesterday. She also talked about some of the other players in the camp. And I asked her myself about Michelle Aguimang, and who has had this incredible tournament where she's effectively kept England in the Euros with that equaliser the other night. And then she has to see her teammate Jess Carter go through all of this. And she might be wondering as a teenager, well, life is brilliant. And then she might be thinking, hang on a minute, what's this all about? How can she make any sense of that at such a young age? So I'm feeling for all those players in the squad. I'm feeling for Jess Carter and for Michelle Aguimang as well, because it's just not fair. It's just not right. And something does need to be done. Lucy Bronze is absolutely spot on with it.
I mean, what do they do? I mean, obviously, if anything were ever to happen in a game, you know, I think the Lionesses have hinted that they will do everything together. Perhaps they walk off the pitch as a team. But with social media, I was saying to Rusha there, when you apply for a blue tick on social media, you need to put in your passport details. You have to send them the picture of your passport. When you create an account, a betting account, you have to put in your passport, obviously, because you have to meet the criteria of being able to bet. When you start a social media account, Tom, Dick and Harry and Sally can all start a social media account and nobody checks that. And people are also buying these bots, paying money to racially abuse people. So this is with the social media accounts, Adrian, but we all know the Lionesses have the voices, that combined voice, to get change properly done. Do you think they'll be listened to?
Absolutely right. They can force change. Lucy Bronze again said, listen, we don't need social media. They can all, delete their accounts. And then I think they would be prepared to do that. Because what she was saying was, we're here for the football. We love playing football and we love connecting with the fans. And that's why they're on social media, okay? They want to connect with fans. They want to hear what fans have got to say. But as she said, criticism is fine. Players have to accept that.
Yep.
Abuse is not fine, and racism is absolutely not fine. Those social media companies, listen, technically, I couldn't tell you how they work. That's way above my brain power. But they know, we all know that they can do something. In this day and age, there's something that they could do to identify those who post this stuff and to stop them doing it and to identify them, locate them, and prosecute them, because as Mark Bullingham from the FA said, this is a hate crime and this needs to be prosecuted, and I hope that it fully is chased up.
Absolutely. Once again, great to hear them speaking so powerfully on that and everybody giving it the focus that it deserves. Adrian, just while we've got you, Rusha came for you last week. She came for you in your player ratings after the first game, so do you want to have this
I
out?
was actually having a little scroll on social media and you popped up with your player ratings and I was going, is this guy all right? Is he sure? I was going, 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10. I thought, I'll need to get a game of fives with this guy. But I'll let you off. But I mean, yeah, how was your rating? How was your rating of the Lionesses after the Sweden game?
It wasn't particularly great, but listen, I call it as I see it. And I think one of the differences, the reason they're so low, as you may know, the sports paper in France, L'Equipe, does very aggressive marks. They're very high, low marks rather, if you played badly. And I'm one of those. And somebody said to me, when you're doing marks out of 10, 4 out of 10 is the minimum, and that's just for getting off the bus. I'm not having any of that. I mean, you've got to earn your marks, and if you don't play well, you'll get a low mark. If you play well, you'll get a good mark. What I can say, Risha, is just be grateful I've never done marks out of 10 for any of your games, okay?
That's it. I'm not playing at the level of the Lionesses, so it's okay. You won't have to mark any of my games. It's fine.
Looking ahead to the Italians then, Adrian, I mean, what do you think? Do you think this is going to be a walk in the park for the Lionesses, or are they going to make it really tricky for them?
No, I mean, what a spectacular tournament the Italians are having.
Yeah.
When you think about how few years it's been professional in Italy in the club game, in the domestic game, for them to get to a semi-final is spectacular. And I think most of their players, all but 2, are contracted to Italian clubs. So it's a spectacular thing. It's one of the great stories, actually, of this tournament that Italy have got so far. They've not been scoring goals freely, although a couple against Norway. Girelli's got 3. She got 2 of those both of those against Norway. The second one, that header, it was a carbon copy of Lucy Bronze's goal, actually, against Sweden. But that shows they can score goals. But player for player, England should win it. But listen, England, it depends which England turns up. The France and Sweden England, Italy could absolutely do it. Netherlands and Wales England, we will cruise through to the final. It's not a cruise with England anymore. It's just not like that. In fact, it never really was. They take us to the highs and they take us to the lows. So I'm not taking anything for granted. And full respect for Italy. They've just got to make sure they get the job done. The problem against Sweden was they were so casual, so sloppy. I wondered about their mindset going into the game. Was it a bit too casual going into the game? There was that mistake that was punished by Asllani in the early stages of that game. Can't afford anything like that again, because they won't get that lucky again. That's just not possible. They're incredibly fortunate to be there. They've got to make it count.
Does it concern you, I think, watching this tournament, the amount of chances that England are conceding, and they've not really been punished? But for a Lioness team, I'm going, they're conceding so many chances. Sweden could have had the game dead and buried before it even went to extra time, but before England came back. But is that a worry? Yes, we said Italy aren't free-flowing, scoring plenty of goals, but you've seen that they're capable of putting crosses into the box and scoring goals. Is that a worry right now?
100% a worry. And the aerial ability, that the Italians have shown is a concern. Millie Bright, had she been in the squad, would be in the 11 by now. I think
Yeah.
there's a concern about Leah Williams' fitness. I think we're all thinking she's going to be okay. Does Jess Carter stay in the starting 11, or Esme Morgan, who came on and played well actually, does she start? They went to a 3 at a certain point in that Sweden game when they got back into it, then reverted to a 4. So which shape do they start with? There's lots of questions for Sarina to answer, but that's why she's the England manager. That's why she gets paid the big bucks to make those decisions. She's got to get that right. I think some of the decisions are highly questionable. That's why she's had some low marks out of 10, Rachel. I think she's got to get those decisions absolutely spot on, because it's okay sort of getting very lucky and squeaking through against Sweden when you shouldn't really have got through. I think we all accept England should be out by now. But if you go out to Italy in the semi-finals, I think there's some serious questions that need to be asked, because player for player, as I said, England are way better. She's got those decisions to make, and it's on her. And if it's not going right, she's got to make those changes quicker.
Okay. Adrian, just while we've got you, before we let you go, before you fly to your next destination, you have been catching up with a Love Islander, Giorgio Russo. The unlikely bromance we didn't know we needed has blossomed live on talkSPORT. How was Giorgio? I mean, we're going to watch the interview in just a second, but you guys, are you going to couple up? Have you got a date in the diary?
Well, I've recorded all the episodes of Love Island. I'm going to watch them avidly when I get back, and I'll just race through the bits without Giorgio and then just watch him. If you've seen his Instagram, which pretty much everybody has now, his High Rocks pictures are worth taking in. Let's just put it that way. So, yeah. And what a time he's got for that High Rocks. Incredible. So, yeah, listen, it was a pure pleasure to spend that much time with Giorgio, and the after party was really good fun as well.
Oh, I bet it was. Adrian Durham, thank you so much, our voice of live football, for coming on. Good luck against the Italians, and we'll hopefully see you again pre-final.
I'm going to give you both 9 out of 10 for the show.
Love it. Love it from you. We'll take it. Adrian Durham, cheers, hen. We'll catch up with you again very, very soon. And if you missed it, here's that beautiful moment between Adrian Durham and Giorgio Russo.
You didn't say to anybody in the villa that your sister plays for you. You dropped a few hints, but you didn't say clearly, oh, my sister's at the Euros playing for England.
So do you know what? It's funny that it wasn't... I did, and there was a lot of conversation. So I never actually brought it up. Someone figured it from my last name on day one, Tommy and Connor. But it never got shown on television, which I mean is not too bad. There was times where we spoke about women's football quite a lot in the downtime, and there was times where we spoke about all football in general. All the boys in there, we all had a real camaraderie about being knowledgeable about football, and we'd play football games and what have you. But the topic of women's football and Alessia definitely came up a few times.
When I found out you were going in the villa, I didn't believe it first of all, and then I thought, oh no, the High Rock stuff, it all makes sense. And I thought to myself, what does this actually mean? And when you, in a deeper moment, I thought it's actually really empowering, because it's tables turned. So you've got your sister playing for England in a major tournament, and her brother is on Love Island. And I just thought, it's actually, I think it's a big moment for the women's game. Did you even think about all of that? Or have you thought about that since?
Yeah, I have, because a lot of, even when I talk to some friends and people that I come across about women's football, there can be sometimes a bit of a topic of conversation about it. When I say to them, the same way that you wouldn't compare Serena Williams to Roger Federer, it's a completely different sport. And that's the way that women's football should be looked at in today's world and forever. And I think the way that the guys in the villa were receptive to the information and the way that they spoke about it was incredible. And I think that the fact I was able to go in there and the following that I have for women's football, I travel up and down the country every weekend when I'm in the UK, going to watch women's football and talking about it and love it. So I think if I can do anything and build a bit of a bigger profile for it, having been on national television, then that would definitely be a good thing for me.
show is brought to you by LG, and it's all in pledge campaign to increase viewership across women's sport. By signing up and pledging to watch more women's sport this summer, you'll be part of the drive to increase investment, grow the game and create opportunities for young girls to get involved themselves. Remember, watching changes everything. Let's hear now from LG's ambassador, Millie Bright, on what advice she'd give to young players trying to break through.
Firstly, enjoy it. I think I've always said it, a happy player is the best player. I think whenever you're happy in your environment and you believe in the people around you and surrounding yourself with a secure circle that, have the best intentions, will be your biggest fan but your biggest critics as well, because you need that. You need to grow and develop, and you need to go through hard times to, build character and to improve your game. I think whenever you have that, just enjoy the game, because I can hand on heart say I'm 32 this year and I love the game just as much as when I was that 9-year-old girl with my dad booting it in the air and nearly breaking my neck with me heading it. So with still toe caps on, so I still have that same butterfly feeling. I still have that same urge to be better. And everyone always says, why have you stayed at Chelsea so long? Because I've always felt challenged. I've never had a season where I felt I've stood still or not had someone pushing me to be better. And even as one of the most senior players there, I still want to be better, and I'm always pushing the kids, and equally they push me. So and if you don't know your local team, go out and seek it. Don't stand still, and just don't be afraid to be different either.
There's a great chat somebody was having the other day about, and not even worrying that you have to be good, as long as you just enjoy it.
Exactly.
Everybody's this pressure, I can't play football because I won't be good at it. That's how girls see football sometimes.
No, exactly.
God, my husband plays 5 all the time, so he's nuts.
I was terrible as a kid. I was literally terrible up until probably about 16. So there's no right or wrong path. There's no journey that needs to be the same, and my journey will certainly be different to the next person's, and so on and so on. So I think sometimes there's too much comparison between, she's better than that, but someone's always going to be better in some other way. But find your own little super strength and use it to your advantage.
I love that. A happy player is the best player.
Yeah,
and always said that. Life, isn't it?
I've always said that. And some players can be in environments where they're not as happy and they still excel. But for me personally, I've always seen the best teams come together when, the culture's bang on. That's something that I can hand on heart say at Chelsea for over a decade is we've had the right environment, we've had the right culture, we've had the right values, we've looked after each other. Whether someone's had a little bump in the road, Milk, can you come get me? Yeah, no worries, I'll jump in my car now. I see, especially the kids like my little sisters, and I'd do anything for anyone on the team, but we do look after each other, and I think it's a massive part of being a part of that team and success.
Don't forget, head to lg.com/UK/pledge. You can sign up to the pledge campaign and opt in for a chance to win an LG TV and soundbar. Remember, watching changes everything.
chasm.
Where do you stand on Serena Wiegmann if she is not to progress to a final past the Italians? Because I think it's what Adrian, I think, was alluding to there.
I still think she deserves to be the England manager. I think you've got to look at what she's done. She's won a Euros with the Lionesses. She took them to a World Cup final. She's now got them in a semis of another Euros. So is that not pretty good? That's quite unreal. Do you know what I mean? That's really good. But I get now you're looking at the Lionesses. And before that, the Lionesses hadn't won a major tournament. Yes, they'd maybe got to quarters, got to semis before. They hadn't won a major tournament. So for that, I think she gets to stay. Again, it could be on her terms. Does she want to stay or not? I think she would be a very honest woman going, no, I can do more here, or no, my time's up, it's time for change. I think she would be. I get, although like, these managers and sports stars or successful people all have that wee bit of ego in them, and that's would probably take them to how far they've got anyway. But I feel like she's a mature woman and she would know. But right now I'm going, you're looking and you're going like the games, and you're going, not good enough, but they're still there. They're still in and about it, and nothing is plain sailing. And you look, she has brought in some younger players. There has been changes. There is some senior players that haven't came to the tournament. So I think she's doing well.
Where do you stand on that stuff now? You know, the players who aren't at the tournament, because obviously it was big personalities, wasn't it? Who are now not at this tournament. They've cracked on. They are where they are with those players or without them. But what kind of environment does that have in a camp?
I think the way the Lionesses are, and that group have been on this journey together for a little while now, so I think they all know each other well. I feel like the camp is probably a tight enough unit. Yes, not everyone's going to be best mates. You'll be closer to certain people than others.
Yep.
But I think people will respect everyone's decisions. And that's what it comes down to. It's like people have done what's best for them in that moment, and you've got to respect that. So Mary Earps, Millie Bright, you've got to respect their decisions. And I'm sure everyone in that Lioness dressing room would too.
There's so many big personalities that are still in the squad. Obviously, Lucy Bronze being one of them. But Hannah Hampton has had a coming of age this tournament. You had played with Hannah before she went to Chelsea. What have you made of her this tournament and how she's grown as a person?
I think there's been never any question or any doubts about Hannah's ability. Like, Hannah's an exceptional talent. She's a very good goalkeeper, and she's technically very good with both feet. And that's kind of unheard of, especially for goalkeepers to be so comfortable with the ball at the feet. So there's no surprises that she's doing well. She has got a belief in her own ability, and she always knew that she wants to be at a top club. For Hannah, it was actually just working on her mental side of the game and her, as a person, maturing and becoming a woman, maybe, is what she had to work on. And I think she's went away, she's worked on herself, and now she's reaping the rewards for that. But there was never a question about Hannah's ability as a goalkeeper. So.
Yeah, no, she's been absolutely outstanding. Even the clips of like her, she's got the thing up her nose and, you know, screaming in the celebrations. Like, it was such a special moment, you know, for her and so many of the players. It's like, oh my God, just on the subjects of goalkeepers as well and special moments. Can we talk about Ann-Katrin Berger?
Oh, I know. It's just one of those, like the story and stuff like that. You're like, and isn't football mental though when you think about it? Like, she was at Chelsea, and then it's like she was no longer kind of going to be number one. She was there, and then she moves away. She works hard. She's working really hard behind the scenes. She still becomes the German number one. She reclaims that spot to the major tournament, goes through more setbacks, and then to have the game that she did is just beautiful. But that save was absolutely stunning. I think everyone watching it at the time, everyone was just like, oh! And then from that, she cracks on, and you know she was going to have a decent game in the penalties. Yes, maybe England didn't. Sorry, the penalties. France, sorry, yeah, France didn't help themselves there with some of the penalties, but she stepped up. She was confident, and yeah, just what a gal.
Yeah.
Anyway, she texted me
Did she?
She wants to head out for a pint after tournament.
Did she?
I said, look, Anne-Catherine, look, you go on your holiday. I'll catch you after your holidays.
Don't you worry about me.
So,
yeah. Oh, honestly, unbelievable. And I think, as you mentioned there, like the story, the background of what happened, she's been through cancer, Anne-Catherine Berger, you know, went through every single stage of life, you know, that there's been for one individual, everything she's been through to step up the big stage and just keep doing that. I'm like, you're so good. You're so good at what you do.
I remember one game, what was I doing? I think I was injured or I was watching, whatever had happened, and I was watching the game and I was out really early. So I was watching the warm-ups. And for like Hannah, obviously Hannah Hampton gets a lot of credit about her distribution and stuff like that. But watching Berger kick from her hands and stuff like that, like she can get over a ball and waz it. It's some technique, and I was just watching it and I was like, oh, yeah, I like you. I knew who she was obviously unreal, but just watching her in her warm-up, going through her wee bits of drills, I was just like, wow, that's impressive.
Got to put her up there as one of the GOATs, really, of women's football, haven't you, Anne-Catherine?
There's some players like that, they just don't get enough credit. But you know what I love about the Germans? I harp on about this all the time. The Germans are like, they're just this force and they're all one. No one's a superstar. Yes, you might have had the time when you had to have Birgit Prinz and stuff like that, and you had to have Alexandra Popp, and they were like the goal scorers. But as the way the Germans do it, like they spread everything equal. So like even if it's like for international duty, if it's like press, if it's like media or like working with sponsors and brands, they just spread it all out. So it just creates that equal environment. And you see a lot of the Germans still play in Germany, and it's just like that that's the environment. They don't want one single massive superstar. It's like everyone is equal and everyone performs, and I just love that about the Germans.
That's nice. I've never really seen it like that before, but you're right. I mean, across the pitch.
Fair.
Yeah.
Like it.
There's no out and out super. You're right, Pop would have been, I think, in our eyes, the out and out superstar, not at this tournament. But yeah, you're right. And it's not then like Pop does every single press interview. You know, they share it and share
all
it.
The work, all the load is spread equal, and I think that's just their philosophy. That's their belief, and I think that's always been like that. So there's no egos.
Do you think we're underestimating the Germans against the Spanish?
Obviously, you look at nobody's seen the Sweden result coming. I mean, that was a battering. You're going that was crazy. But for the Germans, I think you've got to look and go. They're like a few games they've had players sent off so early. We're forgetting about they were down to 10 people after what was it?
10 minutes in that game.
Mental. So there's something about them. They've got a belief. They've got a resilience. You can't underestimate them. You can't write them off right now. It's going to be a tough game. They've played a lot of minutes. They've got a few injuries, missing a few players with suspension. So, but you can't write them off.
Yeah. I mean, here we are now looking at semi-finals of Germany against Spain, England against the Italians. Now, on paper, I think we know what this final is going to look like. But whatever we've learned from this tournament is that you cannot go anything on paper. It's thrown up so many more surprises.
Crazy. Cass, I'm just buzzing to watch these games and I don't want them to end. But that's it. I'm kind of like, yes, you've got, it should be that. Yes, we think it should be that. But you just can't write anyone off right now. It's not over till it's over, and we'll see at the end of the 90 minutes or plus extras and penalties. Final though, who you want to see in the final, personally?
England. England are there for me. I don't know if maybe the Germany could throw up a bit of a surprise and we could see another Euros England-Germany final. But it's possible. It's not the wildest thing ever. I mean, Spain took 50 minutes for the Spanish to get ahead against the Swiss. You know, and again, they've got the home support, by the way.
Last 20 minutes, they maybe got the goal, something like that, yeah.
So I'm like, is there, you know, if the Germans can sit tight and be efficient, which they do so well, it could be a Germany-England final, easy.
Yeah, I would be intrigued to see how the Germans set up for that game. Will they be a bit more reserved, as in, like, will they play more of a tighter block or a mid block? I don't actually know what they will do, but you would expect Spain to have a lot of possession.
Yeah.
It's exciting. I just want a good game of football. Yes, I get it. You'd like to see England. I do think England have to pull their socks up and get their stuff together and go out and do the job against the Italians. It's not going to be easy because I think the Italians will really frustrate them. But I think on paper, yes, England should have enough quality to maybe get over the edge, but the Italians can't write them off. Good team, good at what they do. But I do expect England to get to the final. The other leg, I'm not sure.
Okay, fair enough. One of my favourite moments of the tournament is the Italian manager celebrating that second goal. He's like, like, should I celebrate? Should I not?
Yeah.
Have to go. Like, that was so sweet. And Girelli to get a brace in that game. Like, again, players just getting the worldwide recognition that they deserve, who have been great players for their whole career, and now they're kind of thrust there out in the spotlight and they're doing bits. It's been brilliant. If you're Sarina Wiegman, are you making any changes to your starting 11 for the semi-final?
Well, we'll need to see if Leah Williamson is fit to start. So that's going to be a...
If she's not...
If she's not fit, well, obviously there's got to be a change.
So what would you do?
But I guess you're just bringing in Esme Morgan. But then there's a bit of me, I would maybe rather actually go and put Jess Carter as centre-back beside Alex Greenwood. I get then Carter can play on the left and so is Greenwood, so would that be a bit of an unbalance there? But I just think for aerial balls and stuff like that, like we've seen Girelli in there, they're just lacking that bit of aggression. They've lost that without having Millie Bright in there. Yeah. I mean, she'd head her nanny, do you know what I mean? So she's not there to do that. So I think Jess Carter is very physical, and I think she'd be a bit of a presence in there, dealing with any crosses and stuff, tidying up and getting tight and making it difficult for Girelli. Then what do you do? Who do you put at left back?
You don't think she's going to maybe change the formation a little bit?
Well, the fact that you see her going to a free at the end of the game, but I think that was more, that was purely, I think, to get Lucy Bronze higher up the pitch. I think to Lucy Bronze, that means I've got licence to get high and forward, and you've seen her and she got her rewards, gets to go and gets them back in it. So it will be interesting, but I don't think there'll be a massive shape change to start the game. But we'll see. In terms of players, I'm going, I don't know if there's like any massive changes I would make in the starting lineup. Chloe Kelly has got an argument though. I mean, she came in, she was called, that's maybe one, because I do think without her coming on and playing the way she did and putting the crosses in, I guess she's put in 2 crosses, but there was no other balls put in like that. Do you know what I mean? And it's led to goals and it got them back in the game. So I'm like, she's confident right now. She is confident, so she'll be going, start me.
And this is the thing, is she will Chloe be sitting there going, I'm confident with my role that Sarina gives me?
No, I think a player like that isn't happy sitting on a bench right now. I think she's got to...
But every time, I mean, she scores the winning goal to win them the flaming thing.
Not every time. I just think as players like that, she's young, she's hungry, and she's going, no, I'll like, start me now. She might know she might not play 90 minutes, but so do all the Lionesses. They know that they've got a quality squad, so if you don't do it within the first 45, 60 minutes, there's going to be changes. And I think that's fair, and it's a good place to be, but I think Chloe Kelly will be very confident and just be going, let me start this game, let me make an impact, and then you've got other people then going, right, okay, I can now come on and hopefully make an impact. I think treat it like that. I get there's players like Lauren James had a quieter game.
Yeah.
She's human. That's going to happen. She can't be world class all the time. Everything can't come through her. And then Chloe Kelly steps up. So that's the beauty of that Lioness squad. You've got Beth Mead, stuff like that too, that can come on. We've seen her getting a couple of goals in the tournament, and she'll be wanting to. She'll be like a bit disappointed. She's like, I'm a starting player. But when you've got people firing, people confident and playing well, that's elite sport and that's competition. And at a major tournament, it's going to be, that's the way it is. But I think the Lionesses are all very good and comfortable with their roles. And I don't think there'll be people really sunken. It's just that, well, when I get on, it's my time to shine, which is good.
Knowing the role very well and the situation that she's in, I just want to get your thoughts on Michelle Adjemang. Her as a player, what her future looks like.
Oh, she's got a massive, massive future ahead of her. She's young, fearless. She's been dropped in at this stage and she's delivered. But I still think she's so young and she's got so much developing to do, so much to learn, and she's in a great place, training and playing with the players that she's in with right now. I'm sure she'll be soaking it all up, but I just think let's everyone just let her be. I do not think she should be starting a game yet. I don't think she's ready to. I think she will get her moments in time. It's probably not at a major tournament. It might be in a friendly. It might be in a a group phase somewhere where you'd expect the Lionesses to clear the floor and win and progress through groups like they always do. I think that's her moment to grow. But she's came on at a major tournament and delivered twice, which is great. But I don't think that means she's ready yet to start. I think Alessia Russo is the starting striker. Yes, Russo's finishing right now. And the last game, she maybe looked a wee bit tired, a wee bit lacking confidence. But one thing what I will say is when Russo stepped up to her penalty, she buried it. Had she missed that, I think her confidence would have dropped. But I think as a striker, you go through those moments in games where you snatch at stuff, maybe just a wee bit like, I think she might be feeling, oh, I need to score here, I need to score. I'm the number 9. But she's got assists, she does have a goal. But I think her penalty will just maybe settle her down, and I think she'll have chances against the Italians.
Yeah, I mean, it could be one of those games where they absolutely batter Italy.
I think they need to come out with a big statement. I won't be surprised.
So it's post-France, isn't it? It's what happened after that opening game. They were like, we got the shock we needed. We were on the edge of going out there 3 times. They were nearly packing their bags in that shootout. You know, it was, and they're there. They're in a semi-final. They've got, with no disrespect to Italy, they have got the easiest side. So I think you're right. I think the English will be coming out to make a statement for this game. Before we go, can I have your predictions, please? Germany, Spain, go.
I'm going to say it's going to go to extra time and penalties.
Oh!
I'm just going to go for that. And the Germans are going to win on penalties.
Oh my God!
No!
Oh my God, which means... do you know what? I think I'm going to agree again. I think Germany might beat Spain. That we've had it wrong the whole time. Nobody's been able to call this nonsense. It's been crazy. I think
Spain are so good. They're so good. But I'm going Germany, an experienced team. The only thing is they've got a few... No, but they're good. They're quality players. They'll make it hard for Spain. I think they can't go toe-to-toe with them right away. But I think just really make it hard and be physical, aggressive.
This episode of The Kickback was brought to you by LG and its All In Pledge campaign. Show your commitment to the Lionesses and the Red Roses this summer by heading to lg.com/UK/pledge, where you can sign up to the Pledge campaign and opt in for a chance to win an LG TV and a soundbar. Remember, watching changes everything. Get in the comments, let us know your thoughts, let us know your predictions as we head into these semi-finals. Like and subscribe. Rue, see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.